Hello, everyone. We're here again with Tom Althouse. My name is Stephen Yisel, and this is Yissilmissil Productions channel. Thanks for joining us again for part seven. Um, Great to have you here as always, Tom. And we've had a lot that's happened since the last time we spoke, and we're going to dive all into that today. And I think this is going to be a real quick fire type of interview today because we got a lot of material we're going to cover,
Yeah.
and it's vital material. So this is updates to um, what's ongoing, and as well as some discoveries from the past that's resurfacing. So it's pretty interesting, all the stuff that's um, revealing itself right now, which it seems like that's what's happening. There's a
Yeah,
lot of shifting in positions in these film studios. There's a lot of just shuffling of the cards of the clientele there, and the staff and whatnot. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how it's all changing. And yeah, so yeah, how have you been since the end of February?
well, I mean, let's use the word hope. I mean, it's just hope has just blossomed incredible, like the plant behind me. It's just wow. Now that we've done the Maui trip and got evidence they've been after to destroy where they altered other evidence, now we've got everything compiling together and all pieces coming together, where even things we thought were gone and lost that they have destroyed copies of, we now have surfacing. And it feels like it's now all so real and so coming together and so connected. There's no way they can stop. Sophia Stewart actually said that the FBI, Department of Justice, and others were actually with her, and they were with her. They were using her as their go-to ploy to actually destroy the author to profit off the work and the monies thereof and influence. So it's like, yeah, it's all making sense now with the documentary team firing full thrust.
So Sophia Stewart was a way for them to put up another failsafe that
She was
just like a way to block you out completely from profiting off of your own ideas of work.
She was to be a first claimant. By being a first claimant, it's supposed to look to the public that, oh, this is the one. She came forward first. Whoever gets to the finish line, crosses the line first, must be the one. Well, actually, it's the authors that are the last to come forward, the last to find out, the schmucks that don't realize they're being burned or, in their own terms, screwed. It's like, as they brag, screwed. It's like, it's who they put forward first on the inside is the ones that are operating for them because they're the ones that are put in place to be first claimants. So the other audience members will go, well, there's nothing else to see. We already heard this story, and that's how they play the game. And they got the backing of the FBI and everything else to help them as they're connected to Hollywood.
Yeah,
So
a big mistake on their part though is in my opinion, it's been 20 years since all of this has gone down, and it's just like an ongoing bleeding thing since then. But like as like the last major um thing that they did with I think Matrix Revolutions, the third one, they ended up not I'm losing my train of thought here. So it's been 20 years, and people are rediscovering this stuff is basically what I'm getting at. Like people are digging into older movies, and this is considered an older franchise now.
mhm.
And I mean, people can pick it up at a thrift store for a few bucks. They can get the whole set for the Wachowskis and WB and what they did with that movie, with that series, with your idea.
Mhm.
And it's this what we're doing now with these interviews, and especially with the YouTube shorts, which I talked with you via email
Yes.
about. They're doing extremely well, and took me by surprise. But people are wanting to see you speak about this,
Mhm.
so that's proving that to me. I mean, I know YouTube has algorithms that are blocking people from seeing what we're talking about,
Right.
but we seem to be bypassing that with the YouTube Shorts as of now. And I only started doing that about 4 days ago.
Wow.
So we have number 22 that's going up shortly. So that'll be
Wow.
posting while we go up, or what, like while we're doing this interview, and then this will go up later. Um,
It,
but yeah,
that's
it's on a roll. There's three clips that are over 1,000 views, and they're from the past 2 days.
that's
So
incredible. Yeah. See, I've been busy trying to keep my last son alive. That's what they had me do. That's part of their strategy. And Sophia Stewart would call and mock, and then blame me for the death of my other sons, saying it's because of cult activity. So they employ her also not as a first claimant, but also to harass and try to control the original author. And yeah, a letter surfaced that I want to discuss at some point here. The letter that surfaced that's just unbelievable between her and the top exec in charge of the cover up from Warner Brothers, requesting the money they promised her for the deed. So it's like, wow. But so I've been so busy that now Aiden's safe, and as he's come of
That's
age,
good to hear.
like yeah, so now I can concentrate on the documentary and everything else. And that's why it's taken so long, is they keep you like shooting bullets at the floor, keep you dancing, and then you try to protect your loved ones, and then whoever's left, then you proceed. So
Yeah, they
that's
try to take your attention and energy and time away
your heart
from
and
what
soul.
you really want to do. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to break you down.
They use the
But
word destroy. Yeah, destroy,
yeah,
break it down.
yeah, it's no, it's terrible that I was looking through our first interview since I'm putting up these shorts, and I can't believe Harvey Weinstein and Disney and Miramax and all that crap. Uh, it's just it's it's really disgusting when you think about it. And oh, I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The article with uh, Mike Lang going to a different company, leaving Miramax.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did he so he was with Disney, and then he went to Miramax, and then he went
Right.
to a private company.
Film tracks.
Okay, so he in the article that said that he was moving to Film Tracks, it
Mm-hmm.
mentioned about the acquisition was 600 million, and I think you had mentioned in that first interview about um either you was it your script that they valued at 800 million.
Yeah, originally they said their attorney said 500 million through their internal guy Frank Ayala at the court records office. They used him to say that, and he's endorsed by their firms, Warner Brothers firms, for litigation support. That's the one who intercepted my call to the courts to try to get to the judge to say, look, they're not allowing anything to enter for evidence to stop an MSJ. And so they Warner Brothers works with AT&T. They have a contractual situation with AT&T. So they are able to divert calls. And they actually did divert to this one guy. When you're calling the uh, clerk of the judge, you end up with this guy who's in the copy center in the records office. And he's connected to the next firm for the handoff. And so what you have is, uh, give me the question one more time because I was going on the tracks there. And
So Mike Lang mentioned the acquisition of Miramax
oh,
was
right.
valued at around 600 million.
They
And
told
I guess the question that I'm asking is, does that include your script, or was it just your script alone that was 800 million
I understand
and
it's
not
just
the entire library for
supposed to
Miramax?
be my script. They're calling my script the library. And then it's based
Wow.
on the whole paradigm for strategy for stealing work. So I was supposed to die
So
or take my life.
they put your work up above everything else at that
Yeah,
company, as well as all these other companies too.
that's right. That's right. That's why they were offering a script doctor position for me to come in and teach their writers how to write, basically. And then I would get no credit for my work, but they said I'd be the richest guy in Hollywood. Script doctors
Wow.
who help steal other people's work. So they steal your work, and then they think your greed or horror will lead you to accept the author to be, recompensated by stealing other people's work. No,
So if it if it was worth that much to them, what do you think? So, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this.
why did they make an offer?
Why was the offer so low? And if it was to be like under the radar, um, I mean, why make it seem like it's all of Tarantino's films
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Smith's films and the entire Miramax catalog? I think it's like 700 something films,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
Fair question.
they're
One of
they're
the
they're valuing it at a million per film if you're not including your script.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But how much did they? I mean, they're taking almost a 90 to 95, almost. You'd want to say a 99% loss. at what they invested in each film. If they're putting millions in and only getting a million out with the buyout, uh, unless they were severely in debt. I don't know. Maybe I'm uh, going too far off of a sidetrack with this, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just trying to understand the whole acquisition portion of Miramax um,
Well,
after
there's
Disney.
yeah, there's a whole lot of layers to these questions. So keep me on track
Okay, yeah,
if I
yeah,
go
yeah.
far on one
Yeah, this is a
particular
big
track.
story, and I'm sorry that if I go off
No,
track
no,
a
no.
little bit,
This is
but
layer. My work, my mind works in layers. I'm a little tired from Millennium, but it works in layers. So I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these layers. These are great questions. It's a great series of questions together. So it's like they are concerned about power. The person that called on the tape, attorney who's connected to Disney that we have for the documentary, she's saying, I have to understand, Tom, it's all about power. So influence from power. Influence in the world means you will have control of your destiny, your family, situation, everything. If it's all about power, then it's really about who controls the reins, who influences others. And that's why the FBI is connected to Hollywood also. CIA is connected to Hollywood. Department of Justice is connected to Hollywood. They use it as their ability to steer and control the minds and hearts of the population and the world.
and
So what you
also as a
have,
way to announce their plans with what they want to carry out in the future.
the main thing they want to do is feel clever. They really want to feel clever. And it's hard to wrap the mind around that, but that's what it is. And that's what I hear is going with the idea of it's all about power and only power where they come from. Clever is your currency. Clever is your main card to staying on the horse, not being knocked off or knocked out of position. You have to be clever. Then everybody gets together and branding cigars. So what you have is this series of where they said they put me in my own film. So they said they put me in my own film, like the Truman Show. So there you go. They're trying to create something interesting, be clever, and stimulate themselves while proving the public's dumb. That's their goal. Prove the public stupid, and they feel then entitled and righteously uh, vindicated and sanctioned to do whatever they want, take whatever they want. As Joel Silver says, I acquire art, I don't make art. So what you have is uh, a situation where the whole purpose of Mike Lang in 1993 attaching onto with Michael Eisner to Disney, he was to be in charge of the strategy for acquisition of intellectual property, which came boiled down to you control the courts, you pick your venue. When the author dies, you do whatever you want with his work. Pay off family members that may need to be paid off with some pittance, used to control a whole genius, a whole storyline when they thought everything was done under the sun and everything's rehashed before. So that's illustrated in Iron Man. I think this is an invalid point to bring up when the Iron Man nemesis temporarily paralyzes Tony Stark and tells him, "You think you own something because you came up with it?" And he tells me he has one more golden egg to lay. And this was his masterpiece. That's, biotech. This thing. And he's like saying, that this is meant for them. And so that's how they look at me. They even called me the golden goose. And one of their honeypot wives said that was supposed to replace the other honeypot wife, Stephanie Tenner. She says on the call, yeah, I have a pennant red pill for you. My husband had been Napoleon Dynamite writer. He gave up, and now I'm supposed to be with you. And so she's telling me all about how the inside had it all structured, including her brother-in-law being Patrick, head of Disney Legal. Sorry, Warner Brothers Legal, works with Disney from Columbia University, and I would be having Thanksgiving dinner with him, like I said. So all this is structured that if you're groomed by the elite or considered an asset by government and Hollywood, they keep steering you down a path and they'll do anything to you. They'll tase you, kill your sons, anything until you, quote, behave yourself and get in line.
Napoleon Dynamite was one of those films that was presented as an indie film that made it through all the festivals and then made it to the nationwide theaters as a wide release. So
Well, I
that now
hope the
makes
gentleman, yeah.
sense that there were people behind the scenes pushing to make that a successful film.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They give you a lot of promises too. Been made a ton of promises that I'd be running for office. that they put billboards up and they explain the scheme that, wait till you see their handlers, we'll have you in office. We'll have you running for president. We're going to have you. And that's not just blowing smoke. They actually show you they have the workings to do that, the strategies, just like Mike Lang's strategy to acquire the work. That, consider the submission was done by Pat Robertson's people, Ned and Judy Nankovich, under Pat Robertson's orders, through David Geyertson, who is the PR man for Pat Robertson, connected to the studios in Burbank and elsewhere. And they made sure that these nobodies, Ned and Judy Nankovich, assistant professor and a talent management person, ends up in the story departments of Universal and Disney, Joel Silver's backyard and Michael Eisner's. So you end up with my work going directly to them because they can do whatever they want. And the reason they do these things, they say, is because they can. So they're trying to keep life interesting by playing with us like we're toys and destroying our families. And yeah, so basically the spanking I get for daring to face them down is I see my two sons die. They're cremated before I get to see their bodies. I'm told that they die in a Messianic and film style X-Files death. And they let me know they died and that they know that I'm afraid for my last son's safety. Concern, they use the word. That's all on tape. So it's like you have this situation where I did my wherewithal. I still kept my wherewithal to record, to get it all down and navigate it while facing the worst things a father can face. So hopefully it'll pay off, help people.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's unforgivable what they did.
It is.
And I I mean, you know, they're so small.
Mm-hmm.
They're so weak.
You're right.
And they're choosing to do evil over and over again.
That's it. That's the thing that mind boggles my mind too. I used to try, I always figure it out. And I even asked the question, I said, why are they doing this? And that cold answer comes back on that tape because they can. Then they add, you have to understand it's all about power. Why they do this to me? I asked, and my family, my sons, because you dared to face them down. It is evil. They pride themselves, these attorneys from Warner Brothers that threw our case, along with Tony Rankin, who was suspended license at the time, bragging together that they did it, how much we're worth, how much I was screwed through their contact. Alan, the guy, Frank Ayala from the Court Records Office, who was endorsed by Caldwell, Leslie, and Proctor, the firm that Warner Brothers used, also handles TMZ, to say that, yeah, they're bragging in here that you had no idea how much you're being screwed. Your attorney was in their pocket. He had it back against the wall. And yeah, you're worth, they said at the time, 500 million. Now they've bumped it up to 1.2 billion. From what we discovered.
Wow.
Yeah. So yes, back to that original question, the Disney Library was my work in hard copy paper form in a New Jersey warehouse, they said. They keep it in a guarded location in New Jersey. It kind of gives you a clue of where it all stems from. That's from the Mike Lang articles. Mike Lang himself saying that, while also giving you the strategy. The same time he's running that time that Joel Silver's running, when I was, like I sent you that court stuff or some of that attorney garble where they're doing all the ploys. In that ploy period, they're refusing to serve the defendants and they send Tony Rankin on vacation when the deadline's running out. So I said, I'm going to talk to the judge. In that time where I say I'm going to talk to the judge, you watch, that's when Mike Lang leaves film tracks, or no, Miramax. And the same time, Joel Silver breaks his 25-year, they said severed his 25-year relationship with Warner Brothers. Both run. Interestingly enough, we didn't know about Mike Lang at the time. And he runs at that point.
Yeah, there's no photograph search engine results with his pictures. There's
They're cleansing.
the two articles of him moving over to Film Tracks.
That's the cover story.
And one of them's written by somebody named I think like Bob Lang. So I don't know if it's,
my God.
I don't know if it's like his brother or cousin or something, but I thought that
somebody
was funny.
related. That's how they do this stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Out of the two articles, one was written by a relative and the other one was Variety, I think.
So. There you go. That's their go-to pieces. Hollywood Reporter, TMZ, Variety, there's their go-to slammers. And which they control completely. So they're using their own news sources that the attorneys own.
Yeah, but other than that, like he has an IMDb page, but no photograph, which is odd.
That's it.
And then there's a musician from the 60s and 70s
In New
named
York,
Michael Lang.
right, in New York.
Yeah, and so like there's pictures of him out there, but he looks completely different from the Mike Lang that we're talking about.
That's
But
right.
he's like bald head,
Yeah.
no facial hair in the articles that from Variety and his relative. But
Yeah, so that's the amazing thing. So for that article where they said that the real estate purchase by the Southern California Mike Lang, the billionaire Mike Lang from Southern California, purchasing the most expensive property in historic property in Spokane, Washington, playground in Hollywood. How many billionaire Mike Langs or millionaire Mike Langs are in Hollywood? Southern California, one. And so then they get this other guy. They claim that if you do anything with investigating Mike Lang in Spokane, Washington, they send you to an electrician saying, oh, it's this electrician guy. No, it's not. Mike Lang, the electrician, would not have been able to purchase. And the article says it's Southern California Mike Lang that bought the property. It's in the article, the real estate article. Good try, guys. The doubling. Yeah. Who takes the wife to bed on the author's birthday, having her several relationships when she said she wanted instant success in Spokane, Washington, who promises her in the emails that we have that they deleted from our computers with the green robot, but we had them on a separate external storage. Yeah, way to go, guys. So what happens is we also find that our computers are the expert tech come in and say, this is coming from Spokane, Washington. The signal where they were changing the passwords and it was being changed back remotely from Spokane, Washington. We have the clip, we have a picture of that they showed us from the screen. So Mike Lang also promises, besides driving around in the town car, the funny pot wife, who changed her name to Becca B. Lynn, a soft porn star name, she's being driven around, and you see the series on my birthday. And in it, he's promising her that he will make a resort, an expensive resort for high-end clientele and Hollywood personnel in Mount Zion National Park, because that's Becca's favorite park, Mount Zion National Park. His email is Z at Zion. That's Mike Lang's email. You have it.
he had Zion at what, Film Tracks? Or is it Gmail?
Yeah, he has that's personal side one where it's really interesting. I got to see all these connections he has, that he's doing insider trading with Wall Street. He has this guru guy called is it Father Peter or something? And it's like, code name, and it's talking about the investments in coffee and insider trade. It's amazing. All these emails came up as he's bragging to the former wife. And when I asked the Disney contact on tape, Stephen, why would he do that? He just revealed the whole cabal right back to Disney. We would never have known. And she says, one main word, ego. Because of his ego. They don't even have control of their own inside the cabal. All those factions in the cabal, all the players in the cabal, all the top people, no control over anybody, no oversight, because each of them are based off of power, individual power, and that means their own ego, and then they really can't control their own. There's no cohesiveness. Just
Yeah,
like
and their desire to be clever ends up
that's why all the inserts in the film.
Yeah, they end up making mistakes in the process.
That's why all the inserts. My son just put on, I think I sent it to you. Yeah, I did. Battleship. He put on Battleship by Universal, I think it is. And they can't resist. That's where the work first went, right? So they can't resist. So they put what's my dad's middle name? Hopper? John Hopper Althouse? Captain in the Navy, right? And what was the honeypot's wife's son, who I would have had as a stepson? Stone. So they named the main character in the Battleship Stone Hopper. Stone Hopper. Guys, come on. The guy who plays the Maverick role, like the Tom Cruise role in Battleship. Please stop. It's embarrassing. Not to me, because this is fuel for the documentary, and to reveal their butts. But the thing is, it should be embarrassing for them. But you said it's all about clever. That's it. Power and being clever. That's their shield from being toppled from the cabal, is they go and say, well, is this, look what he did. They try to top each other on being clever. That's why Man in the High Castle. And keep in mind, Man in the High Castle and Minority Report are taken from Philip K. Dick after he's dead. See, he died with a caveat. He said, I do not want my work altered in any way. I want it pristine. His favorite was Men in the High Castle. What did they do? Spielberg and the rest just alter it like crazy. And then they write a book saying, we think Philip K. Dick would be pleased. Please, the man said, almost his dying words, he did not want his work altered. How would he be pleased? And then they stick in Sean, which
It's like the same thing with Tolkien, but continue on with Sean.
Well, Sean, my son,
Yeah,
nowhere in Minority Report. Nowhere in Minority Report. Maybe I'm repeating myself, but for those that are new, Minority Report is Steven Spielberg's. They call him Steven Spielberg as a joke inside when they try to be clever. Steven Spielberg, who just wrote a thing about himself, directed it. My God, that's ego. Ego and power.
yeah, I
God,
saw that on the shelf at the store the other day.
my God. I don't even have the words. It's like, can you be more pathetic? While Sophia Stewart has her company, like we said, writer, director, producer, all eyes on me. There's the flag for spotting them. Goons.
It's not to get new viewers. I mean, I don't know of anybody my age and younger that even care about what Spielberg just put out. Like, I don't hear any talk or buzz about it.
Yeah, I don't care what kind of music he puts for himself. Like, put this really soft music behind my story, and let people love me. And it's almost like he's going to walk into a room and go, "Everybody love me now. Do you love who I am? And look what I suffered."
You know, honestly, I don't want to watch a movie about someone who's making movies.
What does he think? That's how the ego goes.
It's exhausted. Like, even I think Kevin Smith put the final nail in the coffin with that one, with making movies about making movies. Fuck enough already, man.
The tank is empty. The car is out of gas. That's it.
Next is going to be a movie about making a movie about making a movie.
They'll think it's clever. Well, that's why they stick all our stuff in there. The answer to, Sophia Stewart actually said to me on one of her many calls to harass, she said, and you can tell her someday I do record her stupid calls. So it's like, what an idiot. So anyway, what happens is she's saying, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't put that stuff in the Matrix. Yeah, they did, Sophia Stewart. Sorry, they burned you back. Even though you were an insider, when they're done with you, they burn you back.
I saw she tried to claim the Terminator franchise too. She tried to get the whole thing.
I sent you that thing where the picture of the where they debunk her in that video. It's like, and other people have been called in too. Other hosts have said it too. But yeah, Sean, there's nothing about a son, Sean, in Minority Report. There's nothing about Philip K. Dick had about Tom Cruise's character as a Captain John Anderton.
They wrote that in specifically.
They put that in specifically
to reference your son, Sean.
My dad, Captain John Anderton, played by Tom Cruise, who's going to be put away in stasis pre-crime because his son Sean was murdered. And that's not in Philip K. Dick's novel. You have a John Anderton, but not Captain. You don't have Sean. That's not at all what the story is about that Philip K. Dick penned and said, please don't change anything. So they write a book saying, I'm sure there'll be, they're so lazy they wrote a book actually addressing Men in the High Castle, Minority Report, and other Philip K. Dick novels they altered when he said not to. And they say he said not to alter it, but we think he'd be pleased. Really? Well, talking from the life right now, I'm still alive. I am not pleased. Don't say later, Mike Lang, with your strategy after the author dies, you acquire their work for all these goons, that I would be pleased? No, I wouldn't. I would not.
They tried to do that with Lucas too, although he was a schmuck with the industry as well, but they still threw him under the bus at the end of the day.
He took my stuff, definitely. That whole thing. Yeah, right. That whole thing about,
But you see how they handled him at the end? They wined and dined him, been like, oh yeah, we'll use your work, we'll take your script. Oh, you have sequel ideas. Here's your awesome. We will work with it. And then right when the sale was done, it's like throw it in the fire. All right, here we go.
That's the way they play.
Let's start fresh.
That's right. He became that lamb in the end, didn't he? Where they don't let the knife be seen, and they always do that. That's why my sister is so dumb. It's like she doesn't realize that selling out your own brother that you love dearly and danced at your wedding and said, in tears that he wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for your brother, and then you go and burn him because of the deals and the black tie dinners and this thing you just had at St. Patrick's Day with Brian Fitzpatrick, the FBI operative who's a lifelong FBI operative who destabilized Ukraine. now as a congressman, giving you a special elite dinner and fame and congressional honors and stuff like this. And it's like they don't realize that they sweeten it just before they pull the rug. They don't want you to see it coming. It's like Jerry Maguire when he's taken out to eat. And it's like he gets it. Oh, I get it. A crowded place and I can't make a scene. Yeah, they set you up. Steven Spielberg was given this thing he could do and then some Academy Awards for it. Who voted for it? But the thing is that is his golden little ticket. Feed their ego on the way out. We all love you, Steve. We all love you, buddy. We all love you. And put him out to pasture.
It's all his friends and family that's voting for this stuff. Are you kidding me?
Sure.
Like, look at the Academy Awards and the list of rules that they have now that they recently implemented, like a checklist for like including everything under the sun in order to qualify. It's really ridiculous. Like, I've lost all respect for that.
No,
The entire industry, all the awards, all the people involved. There's a few that I have respect for, including you, that's just like got caught up and swept up in all of this stuff. And it just sucks because like I was duped as well. I went to school to think that I was going to participate on the field with these people. And it turns out they own the field. They own the field. They own the stadium. They own the land that it sits on.
Family-owned nepotism. Yeah. And you just give me a great idea in the future, a festival where we see the original works the way they're meant to be. And we can include someone
that would
making
be fantastic.
Dick novel the way they're supposed to be made. Make it the way Philip K. Dick in honor of him, the way it was supposed to be. Now they're saying that Philip K. Dick is inspiration for the Matrix. No, my work is what my son, dad who was murdered, sons are in my high school, all that's in there. That's what threw Sophia Stewart off and made her rage, is that was discovered. Someone in the inside told me, the story department guy. So what you do is Philip K. Dick stuff shown the way it was actually written. You know, now they're claiming that Philip K. Dick is the one that they took the Matrix from. No, they're making up as they go along, and they're sticking Philip K. Dick into my work, you know, and matching it in. So Philip K. Dick wasn't saying the stuff I was saying that's in the Matrix, but they're sticking in him, the Ghost, Alice in Wonderland. They're sticking in Necromancer. They're sticking in as they make it up as they go along. They try to reverse engineer that and say, well, look, they got it from these sources. No, they are putting these sources in as they make it up as they go along, off the original work that Bonaventura said was revolutionary when I was given to pitch it to Bonaventura personally. So, yeah. Well, Bonaventura during the pitch session didn't say, oh my God, all these other sources are revolutionary that we're going to apply to your work. No, he said, your work is revolutionary. We're making this. And then the Wachowskis added everything to it.
So I have a question for you. So regarding simulations and like what the Matrix plot or idea of us being in a simulation is about, like how far back do you think that goes back in literature? Your personal opinion.
You hit something so important. They threw that in. In mine, you have the Jacks the Neck where you download memories and you can alter the memories. That's why they put it in Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones is laced with tons of our stuff, including the red-headed queen that tears up the documents all the time, which Julie Zarco does all the time. Tears up any document. It's illegal. It's unethical, but she does it all the time. And they made a thing about you really got it perfected tearing it up. Well, and it also is where the Stark is seeing that his father was actually almost interacting in the memory. They hinted it, that he's almost interacting in the memory when he's going up to the tower to see his sister, rescue his sister. It's like, you know, and she's dying because the baby is born to Targaryen. What you have is there's a brief point where the boy who's hooked to the tree calls out in the memory and he's responding. He hears it. That's in our work. That's all through our work. So is it a simulation? I leave that open. And they call it a simulation. They run on it because they're simplifying everything. And now they're saying that we're in a matrix, keep trying to, you know, draw attention to the stolen version of the work. We're not in a matrix. We're not in a simulated, we're in a seeded, created, that's what the author believes. And what I think I've seen is we're in a created environment with the right ingredients, a balanced universe that's been created by what you could call God, beings. You know, I don't want to draw too narrow a point on it.
But created by intelligent design.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. That is that, because if you are in a universe that is natural, it's either going to be expanding, collapsing, it's going to be in disarray if it's naturally formed. It's almost sounding like Galactica with universes. But the thing is, when you are in a seated one with afterglows and afterbangs that keep it balanced, and they're adjusting it to keep it from going too fast, too slow. That is the vehicle that the people that created it would want to be in at some point, because theirs is imperfect. It's natural. Ours is crafted, seated. Yeah, intelligent design all the way. And that's what's so amazing in my situation, my life, for the life story, that Hollywood says, oh, the life story is going to be the big thing, not even the Matrix. The life story is going to be huge, the real life story. That's what they say, they get goosebumps. There is interaction where it's like, I don't hear things, but I can see imagery. And I create with imagery all the time. And I saw, and Lucas actually got it right. In Star Wars, you see the, what was it? Kenobi, young, flying the ship, and he's got a gold band across the front here with a little kind of rounded area that's not connected totally.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. I think I saw scientists, brilliant intellects, and I saw this figure. And then it gave me this imagery of download. It's like First Contact with Jodie Foster, where you see these, like, but it was mechanical kind of jointed arms over this plasma ball spinning. I saw it, and I told the honeypot wife all about it. So, but see, the industry has known these things, but they decided to shut down the flow. It's like the children saw their parents and all they had, and they shut the door on their parents and tried to take over the house.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. We have the access to all the tech, everything, advancement. And it's nice to be able to actually talk about it now that I'm coming out of the cave where all I had was bullets flying at me, dodging bullets. Which, incidentally, bullet time was ours also. It may have been done before me, because it makes too much sense. It could have been done before me. They borrowed it too, but it was actually in our script. So, along with the Jackson Neck, Neuralink, everything else. I hope we do not do Neuralink, though.
Can you elaborate a little further on that? So,
which part?
The bullet time being in the script. Yeah. So what?
Like, I had the Amazon rainforest, right? Where what they did was you see it as like a timeline, the ripoff. The first ripoff of the work, The Immortals, is Forever Young, done in 93. When it gone in 92, 98, 99, 92, 93. So they do a B movie with Mel Gibson, who claims he discovered the Wachowskis. Discovered what? Failed writers, failed everything. Everything they did, dropped out of their business. Painting contract failed. School failed. Nothing. They don't have anything. So anyway, Mel Gibson somehow discovers these nobodies, and that have Plastic Man and Carnivore, and Dina Laurentiis wines and dines them. But Mel Gibson is given the role as a reward in Forever Young, about the Allied officer who's cryogenically preserved, comes back, his wife is aged, he hasn't, and he starts to age, finds her, named Helen. In the Immortals preceding that, you have the wife named Helena, of one of the secondaries that is in the pods, brought back, experimented by the architect for his top 100 to be brought back cryogenically. And he goes and sees her, she's aged, he hasn't. Same thing. So they're chopping it like a timeline. Then you have Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and them coming out of that. Demolition Man, all coming out of the work. And so they're ripping it off with their Bible, How to Make $1 Million in Hollywood Without Spending a Dime. They call it their Bible. Making B movies of genius work.
Yeah, so Demolition Man comes to mind. When you talked about Forever Young, it's the same exact story.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so what they're doing is they're stripping the carcass. They're chopping the car. And they're taking the pieces they want. And so they gave the bulk of it to the Wachowskis, but they had a trial period with Bound to see if they could direct after they failed at Assassins.
So back to, like, with the bullet time, you said it was in the Amazon forest and it started chronologically.
Yeah. So what happens is you have these choppers coming from the architects group, seeking out some of these two secondaries that escaped, a Jewish man and a former SS officer. So I did my homework. I have the background for who these people are, who the agents actually come from. This central agents in my thing are from CIA, Central Intelligence Agency becomes the central of the One World Order, central agents. See? So what happens is they're coming with their gunships, and I remember in Outbreak, they have the monkey in the jungle, if you remember it, and they lower down through the canopy, and you see boots pounding by, and the monkey's in there. That's right from the screenplay, right from the Immortals, right? Where they're putting the copyright on the title on my title.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So what you have is in it, the gunships come. They're following the scent of the monkey. The dogs are following the scent of the monkey because they urinate onto the monkey with a cloth on its collar from the lab, and it runs off into the tree canopy. So they start gunning the tree canopy, and in slow-mo, the way it's originally written, in slow-mo, you see the rainforest being destroyed is the idea. And out down comes sloths and different leaves and debris coming down. Bullet time in a much more productive way and meaningful way than just being cool. Yeah.
Very interesting. And the thing they even ripped that off. That
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a clever photography trick because the behind the scenes of that whole process is a bunch of still cameras in a circle.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you just explained that it was more of a driving element for for the
It was,
visual presentation of the
thank you.
story, not
Was
just
telling
something being cool. Like
it was turning pages. It was telling the story, and that's why Bonaventura loved it and said it was revolutionary because it turned pages. Theirs didn't. They're simply selecting all the things they think are cool out, simplifying them, making them dumb, and then saying they're not meant to connect. They're not meant to be congruent. Really? While Joel Silver on set in 2003, after the second and third ripoffs, and Animatrix to rip off anything else that wasn't used up in the original storyboard that was lifted from the work, is saying, we hope when we watch the rushes, it'll tie together. We hope we use up the rest of the story. They're admitting it. So yeah. Do I think audiences are dumb? No, I think they've been misinformed. And there's a lot of shills leading the way
I
to
agree.
make them appear dumb. But audiences are not dumb. I'm going to correct this totally. It's like audiences are smart if given the information, allowed to do critical thinking, and see the evidence. Yeah, then they can be smart. Who's dumb? The ones that are making the films in the mainstream. They're the ones that are dumb. Christopher Nolan failed in his school, basically. The professor told him, you'll never make films, you'll never be a writer. And then Universal picks him up to steal. Wachowskis are brought in, wine and dine by Dina Laurentiis, promised beautiful women, fame and fortune, when they failed at everything they did, and their mom said all you was comic book writing or reading, and they are being offered what? The best in the world for what? And Mel Gibson's bringing him in? Again, failures being brought in to steal the work. Sophia Stewart, USC, failure. Being given amazing letter reveals what she was given. Let me explain. In 2005, which I sent you, the motion for summary judgment, she's lost. Point blank, right across the way. On mine, they didn't let me enter any evidence because the bought attorney, they bragged it in their pocket, bragging having in their pocket, Tony Rankin. When he's fired within half an hour, as I said, within half an hour of being fired, he allowed them to proceed to summary judgment without objection. That means there's no evidence entered, so you're going to lose with all the evidence we have. Now, our summary judgment was a page and a half because there was nothing to argue. Rankin blocked it all. But with Sophia Stewart, she put everything she could in. And it was a 66, 69 page summary judgment, which she didn't have anything. But after that summary judgment in 2005, a deal is made in 2009 when I'm in the picture. In 1999, you have 10 years to discover from that point. In 2009, they come to me and make sure with a honeypot wife, bought attorney who had been her landlord, Tony Rankin, that I would discover at the end of statutes that I've been ripped off, which means I have 3 years now to cover it. 3 years once you discover. So they run that out by having an attorney with a suspended license doing bull garbage, making us just spin for 3 years. So no other attorneys would take us on. Other major firms said they want to use us afterwards. After the fact, they said they wanted to, and law schools were studying our case.
And what 3 years were that?
That was from right when Mike Lang runs in the end, which is
so around 2012.
2009 to 20. Yeah, that's exactly it. And look at the article.
So 9, 10, 11, basically.
Look when Mike Lang leaves, because we're saying we're going to proceed to the judge. We've been held up for 3 years. And you refuse to serve the defendants. You're refusing to serve the defendants. When he's refusing to serve the defendants, after running out the clock on statutes, that's when Mike Lang and Joel Silver run for the hills. Right that moment. And that's when also Warner Brothers, a classmate of Rankin, from University of Berkeley, Rios, Rankin, Burroughs, all the main players on both sides. They stipulate that Rankin can have his license reinstated when I'm saying I'm going to go to the judge, right? When I'm going to go to the judge and say, this is right, I want to serve these defendants. You went on vacation, wouldn't talk to me. I'm like, I'm going to serve the defendants, send a message. Right away, he's responding. Wait, I'll get my license reinstated. Wait a minute. Linda Burrow's going to support me in this. The opposing firm lead attorney is going to support me in getting my statement reinstated, and then I'll represent you. Wait, don't go to the judge. Right when Mike Lang and Joel Silver are running because the plaintiff has had enough. No one would touch my case at that point. Why? Statutes are being run. Rankin went on vacation not only when the defendant should have been served, he went on vacation also when we were supposed to file. He didn't file as my attorney, he filed pro per to make it look like I waited 3 years by myself, ran the clock out, then filed the day after the statute was run.
Wow.
Yeah. So when anybody says he lost his case, if you're physically present, right in the jaw, please.
Yeah, they threw it.
They threw it completely. And the documents I sent you are the first time I've released these documents because it was too painful before, but now I'm releasing these documents. And you look at the ploys, the stipulation order. Talk about the stipulation order. What are they stipulating? For attorney's eyes only. What does that mean? And even during trial. Why? Because Warner Brothers has no working drafts. The Wachowskis have no working drafts. There is no notebooks. There's no working drafts. Even if a picture of shelves full, no, they don't have anything. Nothing. The attorney spilled that on the tape when Rankin gave me the wrong tape back at my deposition because he wouldn't let me have deposition to them.
I just finished making a short about you explaining about how I think Larry Wachowski was approached 3 different times at his house.
Yes.
About changing his deposition.
Yeah, testimony. And that's something
testimony
to try to set it to with me on the 93 submission. But that's amazing because that stipulation order, thank you very much for that too. The stipulation order, if you look at the materials I sent you at some point here, because I sent them last night, but the thing is that's not a lot of time to look at them.
Yeah.
You'll see that Rankin does an email to Burroughs firm, they're working in tandem, and watch the font changes. Because he cut and pastes what they want to say, have him say. He's too lazy to actually write it through, so he just cuts and pastes their segment to say to me as if it's coming from him. So you have different fonts showing up in the same email because he's cut and pasting what they're telling him what to say to me as if it's coming. God help us. So what happens is he ends up saying to them an email apparently I wasn't supposed to see. Go ahead and proceed. I discussed this fully with my client. He agrees with the stipulation order. I see it. I do a response. The first time ever. I know the etiquette, but I responded this time. I said, I appreciate all you're doing and everything like that. Kept it sweet. And I said, I will not agree under any circumstances to the stipulation order. Not at all. Not until we have our discovery, because they weren't giving us discovery. Way past deadline. And no way for the eyes only. Attorney's eyes only. The 2-pocketed people would be the only ones seeing it. And I would not even the plaintiff, not even the jury, not even the judge. Why? Because they don't have any evidence. They admitted on the tape, no working drafts, no evidence. How can we lose MSJ? You have to have an attorney that's fired and then half hour let him proceed without any evidence. And you get a 1.5-page summary judgment, right? So what happens is I respond saying that, and he responds saying, I'm so sorry my client did that. Yeah, I didn't show him anything. Admits it. And then goes like, saying, Tom, I need to talk. Don't you ever talk to anybody without my permission, say. I simply put a copy to them because I was going to make it clear they were going to railroad this through. But they do anyway. So after I say I'm not going to accept this, and it's easy to redraft, I'm not going to accept this stipulation or attorney's eyes only, he sends an email, I see later, that says, go ahead and proceed with it as is. He had told me it needs my signature to go in, right? That it cannot be done without your signature. We can't proceed without your signature. So I'm not going to give it. So without me knowing, he fixes his name as for me. Then he gives me an email after the fact and says, look, hey, the judge usually, ruled mostly in our favor. What? He sent it in after I expressly said not to, and he said I couldn't without my signature. He did anyway. And that's what the documents you got, some of the documents you have.
Were you questioning, like, as the stuff was happening, like all this ridiculous stuff, like, were they red flags to you as they happened?
That's a thing. That's an important question that person asked you, because look at the contract. He doesn't want his contract revealed. In fact, in the
Yeah, he
deposition,
wants it secret.
in the deposition, he even says, "I object to my contract being revealed." They said it's public; it should be public domain. No, I reject. I will not allow it to be seen. And then if you try again, I'll object to that. He's not defending me; he's defending himself.
Well, if it's not public, then there's no proof, right?
Yeah, and then look at the contract, though. Now, here's another deal with the contract. He has to sign a contract right at the beginning in 2009, right? Right at the beginning, he comes to me through the honeypot wife. Then he says he forgets if we signed a contract after he files pro per and reveals finally that he has a suspended license since 1990. So you're filing in 2012, he's been suspended since 1990. So what happens is he then says, we'll have to sign the contract. If we haven't, I'll just bring up the same one. It's the same one we signed in 2009. They're trying to make it look like we had no contract and I've been on my own and just borrowed him as a friend. And he only advised me. And then I filed pro per. They worked it that way, where we had a contract and money was exchanged between us in 2009. He was paid to be the attorney, while attorney is saying, their attorney is saying that there's a friend. And so he doesn't want his contract seen. But in that contract, Stephen, it says this: if you disagree with me basically at any time, if you don't do exactly what I want, then I can charge you for all fees if it wasn't pro bono, but every cost from calls to paper clips, you name it, instantly to be paid at that point.
So would it be safe to say that Anthony Rankin was doing this for a long time, since 1990, or maybe a little after that, but definitely around the time when he was a quote representing you? Yeah. Do you believe he's done this to more than just yourself? Well, is he like a go-to fake attorney for these film studios and other elites to go and try to do stuff with?
Such a great question. There's layers to it. Here's 2 layers right away. He's rewarded heavily after this situation, just like Sophia Stewart's letter I want to tell you about in a bit, with Kate Chilton, head of Warner Bros., at my deposition. So you have this thing where he's paid off and says he's going to be doing the big things. He was given a whole staff right before we started when he says he met Linda Burrow, called Leslie and Proctor, at Disney World, met her at Disney World when he went on a trip on a weekend. Before we file anything, before we said anything, he's on a trip to Disney World claiming he's doing 2 big cases in California when he's ineligible to practice law. Now, if it's true that he was doing 2 cases on a weekend out there, then yeah, he's breaking the law right there. He's unethical right there. But is it really cases going on? Or is that just a snow job where he's meeting Linda Burrow at Disney World? Why? Because that's where Mike Lang is with the strategy, who has the honeypot wife in place, right there, laughing his butt off. So they're meeting at Disney World. He says, "Oh, I just bumped into Linda in Disney World. And guess what? She's going to be handling the case." What case? What? How does she, wait, what? She's there on a weekend with her family? How are you meeting what ride are you on? What are you in line for? What in so many ways that she's talking to you about she's going to represent the case that you never announced and nobody knows about yet? That she's going to be handling it? Just happen to be your classmate? Sounds like you're there for a meeting set up to make sure the case is thrown pre-case.
Yeah.
Right? And then Rankin comes back on that weekend from Disney World with a whole new staff, remodeled kitchen, remodeled boardroom, bragging about it, gets rid of his partner, Drewer and Rankin, and becomes Rankin Associates with all the team from LA, Warner Brothers, including Sam Schneider, brought in with his staff, secretaries, all from Warner Brothers, which I didn't know about at the time. You don't know. And then you can't fire him? He's run his latches out? It's like, oh my God.
They had their claws already in.
And that's why I think of it. One of the big last moves, well, it's not the last move. Saying you'll proceed to summary judgment, allowing the firm's supposed to have a meeting. You're supposed to meet with the opposing firm and settle out issues. What evidence do you have? What evidence do you have? Let's see if we can work this out before we proceed. If there's no evidence whatsoever, proceed to summary judgment. There has to be no evidence. You're supposed to weigh in favor of the plaintiff too. And the judge is not supposed to make weight decisions on evidence. No weight calls on evidence, not to determine any weight on them. And so the only way you can do it is if no evidence is presented. So again, fired, half hour later, he says in the email, you'll see it, We had a phone call with Linda Burrows, and I made that represent our meeting. I told her we can use that as the meeting to proceed to summary judgment. U.S. after you're fired. After you're fired. So, no evidence. He had no evidence because the attorney was in the pocket. And when he was fired, he allowed them to proceed to summary judgment. And they did everything to keep expert witnesses, evidence like look at the James Boyd letter, the submitting attorney. Remember, Rankin in the email tells us, I contacted James Boyd. He has nothing. I talked to him. Don't talk to him. I talked to him. He had everything. Was it submitted as evidence? No. Blocked. Why? Because the handoff firm, they handed me off to Rias and Associates, who relative marries my daughter, estranged from me, the little girl from the Matrix, which they mock in. I sent you that thing with something Teresa Ray, or no, yeah, Larissa Ray or something. The main character in that one piece I sent you, yeah, her middle name was Lorray. Ferris's middle name is Lorray. They just keep rubbing it in. In Oblivion, where the Disney thing, like I said, with it, which Disney held for Joel Silver only, when the case is thrown, Disney gives Joel Silver Oblivion. They don't finish the novel. No need for original source, though. They're going to stop the novel. Right at that point, not needed now. We don't need a cover story. We destroyed the man. We had all his documents, all his drafts and everything. We had them all. So now Joel Silver's going to get it right in Oblivion with robot-like agents facing off, little girl pointing, and they cast the little girl to look exactly like my daughter in the end, pointing to the man who rescued, the duplicate man that rescued. That's my work. And they even cast it. Joel Silver wants to go that extra mile to cast a little girl that doesn't look like an actress at all. Large nose and everything like my daughter had. She wasn't photogenic. I'm not picking. I'm just saying it's what it was. She wasn't made for film. Wasn't made for that kind of thing. She wasn't cut that way. But they cast a little girl look exactly like her, pointing, which is supposed to be representing my reuniting with my daughter and my sons. Joel Silver goes the full mile. Exact ending. Naming the main characters Julia and Jack. My sister and brother was sold out at that point, working for Joel Silver.
Wow.
Yeah. Joel and the Wachowskis get their licks into Sense8. They said it was too big to write down. Too big to write down? Got $1 million for you not writing anything down? Because they had all my notes. They had to move fast. They had to get to deal with Netflix, where the attorneys from Warner Bros. Went. So they had to move fast. So after within a week, after the case is thrown in 2014, they announced Sense8 and get $1 million for Sense8 when they didn't even write a word down, telling the public it's too big to write down. Too big to write down. Imagine you go to a pitch session like that. It's too big to write down. Now you see why Matt Damon and others were shown storyboards. Visual storyboards are fun to put together. No script. Will Smith, no script. When he's supposed to be Neo, no script. So I turned it down.
I had to watch that Bound interview yesterday.
You see it? Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah.
But
geniuses. Geniuses. You see the ego?
Oh, it's just emanating off of them.
And I found the article too, the point where they say it's all this evidence is coming together now. That's lost articles and things like that, where they actually say everybody on the set said to blow it up, blow the Matrix up, but they decided to keep my exact ending. Exactly. Ruining it because you took it all out of context. It doesn't give the power at the end because you took all the relationships out of it. You ruined the relationships. You can't keep the characters without the relationships and expect the same ending to work. There's nothing at stake anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable choices, but they didn't care. They didn't care about structure or anything.
Yeah.
And what I was mentioning a few interviews ago is that like a lot of people like myself were inserting their own ideas into the gaps that were left by everybody else that put this Frankenstein series out.
Yeah. And you know, on their own fan page, the Wachowskis thank their audience, fans, for filling in the gaps. They thank them. And they tell them, too, that they were right to correct them. In my piece, there is no 6 generations to Zion. There's only one, because the architect knows where it is. to use it for that whole balancing the equation at the end, having the people untainted coming out and seeing and come back as Christ. In theirs, they had 6 generations. Then they end up selling the public, their fans, that you were right. It shouldn't be 6 generations. It should be 1. Yeah, it's an original work you're working off of. Yeah.
And it gives it that sense of futility. Like, oh, 7 times, so it's going to happen another 7 times after that. Like, why should I care about any of these characters?
That's right. The whole corridor that's seamless, where they look like they're coming out of walls. That's in ours. Everything's there from Jackson Neck, you name it. And they felt that they're going to get caught now. That's why Andy didn't even get on the project, from what I understand, on Matrix 4. And so they're trying to cash in before we get this all before the public, because they know the court of public opinion is going to figure it out and get on board. And they, before the torches and pitchforks come, they want to cash in. And that's why they don't care to do it for the public. They know they're going to get caught in the end anyway. So cash in and mock within it and rip off the audience too. They're not going to do a great piece. They don't know how, first of all, but they just want to cash in. That's what the whole book said, how to make $1 million in Hollywood without spending a dime, make B movies, low budget. They went all out on it and stuck their own personal little slams in through it. That's why I won't even see it. I'm told all about what's in there.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not going to see it either.
No.
There's no point.
Just like I'm not going to go see Spielberg's film. God, unless I brought an airbag, a ton of them, there's no way I'm going to go watch his film. God help us. The ego.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch anything with that either. So I was trying to get my DVD player playing yesterday. But it would not play from the master set of the DVDs for the Animatrix. It would not play it. So I'm thinking they made a proprietary thing with you have to have a certain type of media player in order to play the disc.
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's amazing.
And I can't minimize out here to look. It's some program it prompts. I can't even play it in VLC player though.
Next, they'll charge you for the one device that'll do it. It's unbelievable how far they've gone. It's like, well, I do want to tell you about the Sylvia Stewart letter, though.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning about that so I was trying to do a little more research on
go ahead.
The sharing of like the dates and your name in the Animatrix shorts.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I sent you the graphics too, but yeah, right. We need to locate exactly where
I had the DVD right on my shelf. Like I should be able to pop it into the computer, and most of them autoplay, but this means that they went out of their way to make this some like interactive BS that the program isn't even out anymore for.
Isn't that something?
I had to get the copy of this movie through different means, but I own a copy of it already, multiple copies, of which I should probably just throw up on eBay at this point.
No, it's good evidence. Keep on.
Keep it for evidence. Okay.
Yeah, because they're trying to like Sophia Stewart's words. I mean, you saw her. She's going like, they wouldn't do that. That's your argument? They wouldn't do that? It's in every copy. So, I mean, sticking the personal high school, all that stuff.
That was a worry too of mine, which might come to pass at some point. I mean, they already do this with the censoring and cutting and changing scenes in movies. But I mean, imagine that where like I don't want a future like this, but imagine a possibility where we have streaming only, and all of the streaming movies are curated by the government to like take out certain scenes and words.
Yeah.
Or if a character doesn't look a certain way that they don't like, they'll cut them out. So
right.
What if they just start cutting all the white people out of all the movies? Like there's that possibility too. And I mean, some movies won't stand up.
Yeah, change the color of the eyes, change the color of different features. Yeah.
That too. Changing the color. Like there's a lot that you can do digitally now that might go off the deep end if it's not reined in. But I want to watch Hollywood do their thing and burn down while I sit back and
they're running. They're like rats running from their nest. And boy, you look at the faces of these guys like Joel Silver, Harvey Weinstein, Mike Lang, Eisner, Wachowskis, Christopher Nolan, Josh Whedon, all these guys. I mean, there's a thread going on here where these guys look like, you know, they look like warm friendlies. They definitely are guys that are.
A lot of them are molesters.
Yeah.
James Gunn is the most recent one, where
Mhm.
he made jokes on Twitter um about children, and then he also was fired by Disney and then rehired again to make
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He was
Yeah.
making dead kid jokes on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They
that's what
do
he
it in
was
Space
fired
Force.
over originally too.
In Space Force, they make a joke of drinking the blood of the children. And that's where they have Mark Naird, which is Mark Laird, my brother Mark Laird, and Mark Laird Althouse. And it's like they have the scene, I actually have a clip of it where they go, yeah, we're drinking the blood of the children. He's laughing.
You saying the Space Force show?
Space Force series, yeah.
Okay.
On is it Netflix? Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I have a clip from that where they're talking, the guy's talking about it. And he's laughing about drinking the blood of
You
the
know what's
children.
really wild? That what was it? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp and
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Banderas. They have a whole scene in that movie where they go into detail and eat the drug of adrenochrome. And
Yeah,
it's all blatantly out there.
yeah,
Like the whole scene is surrounded about like it's focused about that drug. Like they're in the
exactly.
room. And then they
Exactly. I
all
got
start tripping
sick.
out and everything.
Got sick watching that. Got sick watching that film. Absolutely nauseous and sick.
And
And
when I first saw that, didn't even know what that was. Thought it was some made up thing that, but like
yeah,
now, yeah, it has
sure.
a very different effect once you know what they're talking
And
about.
look how they groom these guys to be like the good guys and appear so sweet and nice. Banderas is in on the ripoffs right from the beginning with Assassins. Right from the beginning. Right from
Really?
the beginning. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember you mentioning
Right from
about
the
that.
beginning. And you think that such a nice guy, such a nice guy, not a nice guy. Don't get alone in a room with him. Yeah. They mold him that way. Keanu Reeves, not a nice guy. Not a nice guy. But they groom him, they tag him as the saddest man in Hollywood, the nicest guy, the most charitable guy. No, not at all. Giving your crew $1 million each, and who are union wage, like I said, and then the stunt team Harleys is not charity. I don't see that going to the homeless in LA or across the
Right.
planet. I see that going to guys that are getting union wage and making a killing, ripping off another artist's work. It's payoff money laundered through Keanu Reeves, used to PR him further. Keanu Reeves wasn't even the choice by the Wachowskis for Matrix. It's the suits from Warner Bros. That put him in, which means he's in with that cabal and the pedophiles deeply, deeply. Yeah, Keanu Reeves is not a good guy.
Yeah, he withdrew from a project recent that we talked about this last time. H. Holmes movie,
Mm-hmm.
Devil in the White City. So he's going to be playing a serial killer, and then he dropped out,
Yeah, he
and
has to watch his image.
probably yeah.
They want to make sure his image is the good guy among the children. They're trying to get the next generation to think Keanu Reeves is some kind of really sweet uncle guy, really great guy.
They literally made him Jesus in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. No joke.
Unbelievable. Yeah, real life.
From like, and this is like 4 years ago too. So
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to make him literal like
They're
Antichrist.
they're feeding him to the children, the next generation. They want the next generation to love him, and that's going to cover up all the wrongdoing they've done. Keanu Reeves is the one that's benefited so much, probably more than any other actor in the industry. I would say Keanu Reeves has benefited from the pedophile and cabal industry. He
Yeah,
is
because he's gotten a clean pass this whole time.
the whole time, and he knows about this. Someone had called him that's connected, best friends with him, had a connection with that best friend, and they contacted him and said the Immortals, and he freaked out. He knows exactly, and he was going to be a producer and benefit as investing in the franchise. One of the biggest frauds of our century is Keanu Reeves. I hope he's
Yeah, I'd
right.
have to agree.
I hope the whole world gets to see who he really is. You mark my words, he's going to lose it someday publicly. They'll make excuses for him, they'll cover it up. But he's going to lose it publicly and reveal his true nature. And it's not going to be pretty. maybe he's so spoiled he may not get something he wants at a certain moment. He flies off and kills a waitress. He's not a good guy. And I hope I didn't make a prediction that comes true.
No, I'm hoping that if he does get public attention with what he's done in the past, not new stuff that he might do in the future, but if he gets that attention and he comes forward, that at least he brings one of these other people down with him.
Yeah. Well,
Like
that's the thing.
as he's falling, he's like reaching out and grabbing these other
Mhm.
players that have actually done a lot more with him, even though
Yeah.
he's complied with them.
Yeah.
I'd rather him help see him at least do one act of good and help
Well, he
bring the
wants
other.
to be remembered as a shogun, basically. He wants to be remembered as this Japanese, kind of like holy guy. And so, honor and respect. He wants that image attached to his legacy. He's getting older. He wants the legacy now, concerned about the legacy. And so he's trying to do it through a corrupt means, organizations.
It's probably why
And,
he wasn't as silly in the third Bill and Ted movie that came out just
yeah,
2 years ago or so. Very deadpan acting,
probably
no
capable.
like
Yeah.
ho 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 type of
Oh no,
stuff from the first
he's
one.
if we were inside internally into his mind and saw what he was really thinking, you wouldn't be in that room. Yeah, it's like inside his head.
It looks even on like what you just said. It looks not like on screen something else is going on in his head than what he's actually like acting and portraying. It's like he's not
Exactly.
in it.
No, he's not there.
Felt
He's
like
not.
he just phoned it in. It's like, oh, okay, I'll do the Bill and Ted movie now, I guess.
Yeah, no, I could tell you for sure that in his mindset, often is a running thread of, God, I hope I don't get caught. God, I'm gonna get caught. I don't want to get caught. No, it's like, yeah, he's afraid of his skeletons catching up to him.
He's gonna be connected to all of it too. Like, even with John Wick, I haven't watched any of the movies
Yeah,
surprisingly, but I
yeah,
don't plan to now,
right,
especially.
right.
But I've heard that he's uh line dropped um quotes from the Matrix franchise in John Wick. Like I need guns, lots of guns, stuff like that. So like
Mhm.
there's references that he's still making to these that's gonna always connect him.
He's
Like
trying to
that's
groom his
supposed to be his acting and directorial like independence right there. But no, he brings it right back around to where what gave him a second wind in his career.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, he's going to be holding on to ropes, um, that his legacy they climb up to try to make his legacy shine, and he'll be revealed. With all these guys, they have massive egos. While they're being made out to be sweet, that's like a bad uncle. You catch the bad uncle after a while. And people usually don't like the guy that's getting away with it. In fact, when we said about Mike Lang, when he left Miramax Films, one of the comments underneath was how everybody was glad he was gone because he was such a massive ego. They couldn't stand him. He was such a fill in the word. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've been noticing. These articles, a lot of news articles don't have comments under them,
Oh,
especially like
interesting. I
ones
didn't
like
notice.
this. Yeah, like there's just no engagement. Everything has been manipulated to the point where people don't care about making comments anymore. They're scrolling a lot, and
Right.
it's the engagement's not there like it used to be. Because I
Right.
remember
Well,
people used to be very like committed when they were online. They'd be very thoughtful. They'd have correct punctuation, no spelling errors,
right.
but like very well thought out um, comments. And now there's just nothing. I look at these articles, zero comments on it. It's like this guy Mike Lang, like he's a huge guy. Like, why isn't there any of his people that like him saying,
Yeah.
"Congrats,
Yeah.
I'm so happy for him. I've known him my whole life." There's
Yeah.
nothing like that. It's all
No,
blank.
it's
It's
all about power.
devoid of any soul. It's just like, oh yeah, so and so moved from this company to this company. He's very happy that he is at where he's at.
Yeah, right. See, that's the thing. If the cabal gets their way, it'll be a soulless, one world society. It'll be soulless. They'll get their way.
This is who you're supposed to like. If you question it, then you go to the gulag. Good luck.
Exactly. That's it. I'm been in the gulag. And it's like one of the things though I want to bring up to you really is this Sophia Stewart thing that she posted on her site she wasn't supposed to. Now,
Yeah,
granted, it's in Pacer. It's in Pacer, but who goes to Pacer? Who's going to look at Pacer and find out all these boring court documents in it, which Sophia Stewart posted on her site, which she wasn't supposed to, was a letter from Kate Chilton to her in 2014. The case was thrown in 2014. That's when Rankin had said, allow them to proceed to summary judgment without objection, with no evidence entered. After he did it, telling me he did it, after he's fired. And in 2005, she loses her summary judgment. 2005, they wait 3 years for appeal and everything else to be over. So in 2009, after it's long due, where she can't do anything about it now, she's lost completely, thoroughly, they offer her $5 to $7 million. Why? Not for her work. You've seen it. There's no evidence at all. There's no, like you saw that article, there's nothing that matches up at all. She wouldn't win. She lost in summary judgment. It's over. They're going to give her, who's going to give money, millions of dollars, in fact, when you lost? You give it to your paid player. You give it to your insider. You give it to the person that's supposed to be the first claimant to throw the original work down, because the original work, the author is being contacted at that point. In 2009 is when they come to make sure I know the work's stolen, statute of limitations, 3 years run out. That's when they contact, they're referencing the letter. In 2009, you promised us $5 to $7 million to do a job. And in 2014, Kate Chilton is responding to it saying, I'm not, because they contacted her again in 2014, after the job's done. Case is thrown. Rankin's done it. It's going to be thrown. So they want their money. So Kate Chilton gives them a call back, letter. Kate Chilton, the one that was at my depositions, executive for Warner Brothers, giving the whole thing to throw the case, saying, we're not going to give you anything now. We're not going to give you anything now. It's a payoff letter. It's an assassin letter. 2009, they're referencing, is when they're brought on. That's 2005. She loses her case. 2009, she's offered money, $5 to $7 million. Her schmuck lieutenant, Nicholas Jackson, is the one writing it. Caitlin's responding. Kate Chilton's responding. The very lady that met me at my own deposition. So what it is it's revealed that this is the cover letter. This is the letter saying, we're not going to pay you the assassins. We're not going to pay Sophia Stewart $5 to $7 million. They have to come up with an alternate arrangement. So Sophia Stewart posts the letter. Why? Because she wants the public to think that she was offered millions of dollars by Warner Brothers. And the public's supposed to think it's because of her screenplay. No, it's blood money. It's payoff money involving the death of my sons and everything else, which Sophia Stewart calls all the time, saying, you killed your own sons, you're in a call, you're responsible for the death of your sons. Always talking about the death of my sons, mocking the man who died, father who lost him.
When was the last time she called you?
Well, messages happen a lot. Calling was when they struck the websites of Red Pill 78 and Sarah Westall. The day they did that, after running big interviews with me, Sophia Stewart called to tell me that the websites were struck. She started by saying this, you know who this is? Because she's got this ego. I'm like, no, you sound familiar. She goes, yeah, then she says who she is. And she goes on about, they struck their sites. She's going, how much did you pay them? Like, I don't pay anybody to get on a site. I can attest to it. I don't pay anybody for interviews that do it out of the kindness of their heart because they're interested in revealing critical information and evidence. So I'm like, how much do you pay yours? And then she goes, well, you can't make your movie because there'll be an injunction on it. And I responded, well, if they do that, then that's when anyway, this call happens when I'm in Texas. So this is in the last 2 years because they made her be quiet after that. I said, but if they put an injunction on me that proves we have similarities, we'll win our case. So that's fine. Let them do it. Then she said, no, you can't do anything case-wise because they ruled prejudice. I said it was all fraud-based. We'll prove that. There's no statute on fraud, basically. Now, they have these guys come in to say there is and all this kind of stuff, but as you're discovering things, it opens up a whole new door. With the court of public opinion being educated, we can do something legally if we choose to, especially with all the ripoffs that are happening right now currently, as they feel free to run with it. The rest of the story, as Joel Silver said. So all three things, she didn't know what to do. The first time I ever heard Sophia Stewart get very quiet, she didn't know what to say. Always, she's usually cursing me at the end and threatening and mocking the death of my sons. This time, she just became quiet. And so I just said, great talking to you. Thanks. Thanks for calling. End of the call. After that, I guess she never had the chops to call back. She mocks me online a lot. She'll have her attendants do that, and she'll send messages. But
She's really nasty.
She's a nasty piece of work. Very
so
crafty.
To our viewers here, I sent Tom an article from 2018 of this independent journalist that was reaching out to Sophia Stewart to interview her, and I guess they had some back and forth for a while, and they were getting ready to do this interview, and then she started cussing him out. and he posted the whole email like as a screenshot for people to see on this article, and it's wild. She drops all the bag ones. Very dirty mouth.
That's how she talks. That's how she talks to me. Yeah.
Wow.
She doesn't get her way. But that's what's so telling. I'm glad you shared that. Is that when she got silent, I've never heard her become silent. It's like Joel Silver shutting up. You don't hear them
Wow.
become quiet. Like I was just watching the Tom Cruise parody of Joel Silver in Tropic Thunder,
Oh,
and
is that who he's playing? Joel
he's
Silver?
playing Joel Silver, right?
Okay.
So Les Grossman is Joel Silver. That's what they're having fun with, and that's how he talks. And isn't it amazing that during our court process, they had Joel Silver quiet the whole time? They promised him, we'll deal with this Althouse character and it'll be fine, but just make sure you leave Warner Brothers right now, and then we'll bring you back. After our case was being thrown, he returned 6 months later after severing his relationship after 25 years, end of an era, they said in the article, from Warner Brothers. And then he's right back when they had everything in place. And look at that stuff I sent you when you get time with the Joel Silver comments, where you see Rankin say it first, and then you see Warner Brothers say it next within a day. They're working together with these different fonts changes. And so you'll hear Rankin say, we shouldn't really do anything with Joel Silver until we find out more information because he's not really involved. Not involved in Matrix? He co-owns a franchise. He's producer, executive producer on any franchise. Look at Matrix anytime you see it, or you get the DVD working, it's Joel Silver. So they're trying to argue he has nothing to do with it. So you have Rankin arguing that. Then you have an email the next day from Warner Bros. Going, yeah, you might want to tell your client nothing to do with Joel Silver. You shouldn't have tried to depose him. Nothing to do with Joel Silver, nothing. And then in my own deposition, you have Rankin. I think I sent you a copy of this, where in my own deposition, he's saying, you know, when they ask about why do you think Joel Silver's involved in this lawsuit or connected to Matrix? Objection, says Rankin. He's not representing me. He's representing Joel Silver. He's saying, like, I object. No, you can answer the question. No, you can't. We don't want any rank speculation from his own client. Thanks for having my back in my own deposition. When I'm exhausted, have the flu, and you're going 7.5 hours while altering evidence. I had that evidence altered, my poor man's patent, going through trauma, and him pushing. That's a whole other thing to have it kept altered, and then arguing that that's what's going to be the Copyright Office. Thank God we got the script in time. That was full when I heard that. So it's mind-boggling, Stephen. It's mind-boggling how much they went and Rankin went to protect Joel Silver. So he got huge rewards afterwards. And usually they redo your website, besides remodeling your kitchens and everything else, and trips and everything. Money, position, yeah. So, yeah.
No, I think you've done a great job, like keeping all of this like together, and like names and places and times and everything.
Thank you.
It's all there. It's just this is it. It's not some quick read or a short book or
Right.
like a commercial that's 30 seconds or a minute, like these shorts. Like people like having sound bites and getting all this information little by little, but like there's a lot to this story that it needs time to digest because of, for I think firstly the time span that this has gone on for, and the amount of deception that's been injected into this whole thing from the main actors involved. And um then you have the censorship on top of it of trying to suppress channels like mine and other people that you've gone on to interview with. And yeah, it's rampant. It's going on right now. There's suppression with views. There's It's almost like the spigot turns back to normal and flows normally every 15 minutes.
Right.
If somebody from YouTube in the back room isn't turning it off again. So you could basically say over the past 2 days, there's been times where like that 15-minute guard watching the spigot wasn't watching it. And they let like thousands of views go and hit the channel. And then they turn it back down to like, okay, now you only get 2 views this hour. But the previous hour, you got like 1,500 views.
Right. We've seen the views go backwards. We've seen the views where I'm glad you pointed all this out. It's like it'll say like one time with Michael Yeko too, we had like 170,000 within a week, and it was like and they just cut it off. They just cut the thing. They just
It
pulled the
stop.
feed on
It
that.
literally just
But
stops. It looks like
yeah,
there's the graph. Let's see. So it goes up, up, up. Then it just skyrockets, but then it just goes and it flatlines, and then it just keeps. And
and
it goes
sometimes
back to
they'll
what it was for like a whole month of just
yeah,
nothing.
and sometimes they'll drop it. They'll actually drop the views. They'll rearrange it so the view drop goes down. I've had pictures of
Oh, I had
views
bright. So
up,
there was
and then they'll drop it down to a lower views.
yeah. So
What?
I've ran into that with the video website Brighteon. So I'm on
Mhm.
like several websites that I'm
Good for
like
you.
mirroring everything on in case something
Good for
happens.
you.
Well, Brighteon had this problem with the view counts where the counter wasn't registering for overall views for the channel, but I was getting views on the videos. And I don't know if this is just because it's a small company and maybe somebody missed something, but instead of correcting the overall counts for the channel, because I had more views on the videos than what was being reflected, they took away views from the videos that to match what was being displayed as the overall view count, which was
Wow.
less.
Right,
So they
right.
took away. So I had like what 50 views on a video, zero. 12
Mhm,
views, zero. They just they zeroed out everything that didn't match up with the error number,
mhm.
and I haven't had that happen
Well,
on
this
any
is
other site.
interesting, Stephen. What's interesting too with my whole battle with Elon Musk over my intellectual property now, which is going to be ideas for tech and everything they took or gave to him actually, which just frustrates me. The man frustrates me the way he is and the way he carries himself, the way he explains himself. Oh my God, what he did with Twitter, laying off all those employees,
Yeah, we'll have to do a
90%
deep
of the
dive on
workforce.
Elon too at
Yeah,
some point.
well, yeah, I'd love to because on Twitter now, after Elon Musk is in charge, what are my views? I mean, it was like no comments, no likes, nothing, zero. Where it used to be like thousands. It's like nothing, zip. Yeah. So thank you, Elon. Thank you for while you're also paying for the subscriptions for Stephen King and others, you're
Yeah.
block.
Well, he bought this company that has this giant program or server that's been designed from the ground up to be a public spy apparatus
Yes, spy tech. Yeah.
for the US government.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like
That's you just
that's
hit it.
that is what
You just hit
has
it.
like
Elon
the
Musk.
paper like I think he paid to just have that information go public
Elon
because
Musk.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's a way for them to fix the program of Twitter. They need to just start from scratch again because the algorithm is already embedded in a way.
Yeah, they might
Like
as well have taken a Pentagon agent or CIA agent and made him a Hollywood star. Take a Pentagon agent and recraft him to be a Hollywood star
yeah.
or a major
Well,
war.
his parents are involved with all of this Illuminati crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen photographs, like they're wearing the crazy outfits and all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's no
All regret.
surprise. Oh yeah, look, another person that's kind of weird that's in the spotlight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Illuminati came my way too. One of the ideas was to match us up together to have Elon and I combine. And just like they wanted to do with Marvel Comics, make a blend of Cypher-Man and Immortals. It's like incredible that they keep trying to blend you back in, and then you're guilty by association, and then you're supposed to toe the line, use your genius and your powers to work for the cabal. So yeah,
They just want
basically
to
they
harvest
call it
your
coming
energy
home.
and siphon off
Yeah,
what they can, and then
yeah, they basically call it coming home. You're coming home. Time to come home. Always time to come home. It's an avatar. Always time to come home. Because they try to make it like the audiences don't understand you. Like you watch the latest thing they've gone back to, the talking points. We're doing that with the documentary, coming up with all the talking points they use and what you do to show how it's stupid. Is one of the latest ones they're using now is that Tom Althouse only speaks gibberish. He speaks gibberish,
nope.
and you'll see that in comments. Yeah, that he just speaks gibberish.
So
And
I mean, I'll be very blunt with you, and nothing negative. Everybody after 20, 30 minutes, an hour of talking, you start forgetting things
sure,
or you misspeak. And I've noticed that going through the clips. Some of the times when you do misspeak and it's like you meant to say one thing, but then you correct yourself almost immediately after the fact. So I don't see a problem with that. I actually, for the shorts, I edit out the parts where you misspeak,
Thank
and then it's more coherent. And I'm not saying that you're not coherent.
you.
It's just having all of like trying to get all of this information into 1 minute sound bites. It's a
Yeah,
lot because it's like you're. I'm trying. I'm trying to do show respect to your, um,
situation.
yeah, just
Oh, I
everything
appreciate that
involved,
too. Yeah,
and just reflect it in the most accurate way possible.
no, I
So
appreciate that because I had like an all-nighter on last night doing this stuff because I got to get this stuff out to documentary. I sent this stuff to you too, but it's like, and the pressure, there's always this pressure on you, not to make too many excuses, but it's just like there's pressure on you from the death of the sons, everything else. You're carrying that. Why they're saying you have no feeling about it. They really know how to try to break you down. But I am pleased that I'm able to articulate what I articulate. And thank you for pointing out that I go back and correct. And if I miss a question, I'll ask, did I cover it thoroughly or sufficiently?
yeah, I mean, I was writing down names in the first interview as I was going through clips, and then I was researching too at the same time, and like, I was finding so much stuff that was linking back to things you said like in later interviews. So like, if anybody's trying to cross reference what Tom is saying here and what both of us are talking about, like it's all out there. And if you're having trouble finding something, say something in the comments
Right.
and I'll pass it on to Tom. I've been doing this the past few interviews where like I reach out to Tom and if a viewer has a question or if they want clarity on something, then we we approach it like we
Right.
acknowledge that that question is there. We can go and we tackle it.
That's right.
So
Even those tough ones, like that thing about Rankin and why didn't I fire him? That's a great question. But the thing is, they rope you in, make you promises. It's gaslighting with attorneys, and they rope you in, rope you in, rope you in, and they do the dinners with you and things like that. And then suddenly you realize they're running out the statutes. They're going on vacation. They're running out the time limit. Now that you just lost because they became unreachable at the deadline.
and they had all the papers that you
Yeah,
needed to
everything, and
prove
they don't give you
your
back your
point.
evidence. Yeah, they don't give you back your evidence. They clean their files. It's a whole beans things that go with that
So I'd
too.
say that that should answer one of our viewers' questions is that you can't just withdraw and fire an attorney. Like you can fire them, but like they have all your stuff
They have
for
all the stuff and they don't give it back. And then the contract says that if you fire him or disagree with him, if you disagree with anything he's doing while he's railroading you, is what it comes down to. You're saddled with all the fees immediately. So they planned it that, like they said, he has no idea how much he's being screwed. That was a quote from Linda Burrow of Caldwell and Proctor Warner to his firm.
and I want to mention one other thing. Like when we're talking about papers that Rankin would have had, like this includes court papers that have your signature on it that is needed by the courts in order to move forward with things with like presentation of evidence and
Right.
everything.
When he
So
did that pro per filing, it's not my signature. When he filed me pro per, he hadn't told me that he had a suspended license in 1990 when he filed in 2012. He didn't tell me that. And he files it behind my back pro per without me, but forges my name on the document as if I signed a pro per thing that was all along. And then he has
wow.
an email saying, "Oh, we're on our way. We're out of the gates now. We're going forward. By the way, I'll need to tell you something. I just doesn't even say at that point." Then later he's saying, "Oh yeah, my license is suspended. I need to get it renewed, and so I'll have to get that done." But plenty of time to do it. You got what, 3 to 4 months to serve the defendants, plenty of time. And then he goes on vacation again, or becomes unreachable, or reachable, when it's deadline to serve the defendants. Just a game they play, a game they play. But yeah, I would ask anybody to go through this and have the death of your sons and your daughter estranged and then married to the firm, the relative of the firm, the handoff firm. What is it? Ralph Rios and Associates. So she married Jacob Rios from Ralph Rios and Associates family. It's in 2014 when they're throwing the case, and this letter from Kate Chilton's going to Sophia Stewart, where they want the
And
blood money given or signed in 2009, $5 to $7 million. After she's obviously not the writer and going to be paid for destroying the author handling, which we have the tape of her calling me and saying, you claim Matrix 2 and 3, I'll claim 1. You're the missing link. And then later coming on saying, Tom Althouse is a fraud. No way he could. How can you say he wrote the Matrix if he didn't have Matrix 1? So Rankin with her is claiming you can't make just one. I'm saying I want to claim it, and then you have this whole thing where he filed this amended thing after he comes back on board after missing the deadline, and they stipulate, their firm stipulates for him to be reinstated. He comes back on board and he does a revision of our stuff, taking all the matrix evidence out. Why would Warner Brothers firm, having won through default because Rankin disappears, we can't get it in, we're going to go to the judge, and they're not serving defendants, they run out the time and clocks. Why would they stipulate to go ahead with the case?
Okay, so another aspect here. Was Rankin talking with your then wife before the
Yes.
case was involved? So
Yeah. In
there's
fact,
another aspect involved. You have your significant other that knows the attorney, and she could have, I assume she was in your ear telling you to keep this attorney.
yeah,
Unless it was well after the fact. I
well,
don't
this
know.
is the thing. You hit something really important. She was going to leave Ada and I because her job was done. In 2009, her job was done. Statutes run unless we discover it. But they decided to have her tell me about it so they could destroy us. They didn't want to public finding out that this guy actually had all this evidence. They want to control that, get rid of evidence, and launder it with the honeypot wife. So in 2009, she tells Ada and I that she's going to leave us. She was having affairs all the time, but she's going to leave us. And
What was her name? Just so for reference.
at the time, it was Rebecca Althouse, Becca Althouse, and she was Rebecca Lynn Northcutt, and then goes by at the time Becca Lynn Northcutt, and then she changed it to Becca B. Lynn, which is the same as that soft porn model, Becca B. Lynn.
Okay, that makes sense now.
But see, the thing is that she didn't tell us at the time when we had that meeting with Rankin. We didn't know that Rankin had been her landlord. What they do on Maui is sex for trade, where you can stay at a place, a location. A lot of girls do this from California. If they're low on funds, they'll do a sex for trade. Well, even in the papers in Maui, you have it advertised, where you will stay at a very nice property if you have sex with the landlord. It's common there. And so she was sex for trade with a criminal record where she was, she didn't tell us when we had the meeting with Rankin that that had been her landlord until later. And and also what happened was instead of leaving Ada and I, all of a sudden she became lovey-dovey after the meeting and said that she loved us and wanted to be with us always. That's after she said she was going to leave us and took a trip to Taiwan, having sex with guys out in Taiwan, and even her best friend said it's like eat, drink, and pray, or whatever it was, that thing about women having sex on their husbands, away from their husbands. And it's like, and so it's like, yeah. Then we find the journals later that, who she really was, that there was, she was sleeping with people all the time. And it was part of her job, including we hear possibly Anthony Hopkins, because she was talking about being in tandem with Anthony Hopkins' wife at the Grand Wailea, or no, the hotel next to the Grand Wailea, Kupalani, whatever it is. She was picked by Anthony Hopkins to be his massage therapist along with his wife in a tandem massage. And then she was hinting.
Yeah, I'd say there's something there.
It's like Jerry Falwell. Yeah, Jerry Falwell thing. Because her own journal said that she would have clients for sex. Their clients were for sex. Her lovers, she called them, would be her clients. Yeah. So that was found in her journal she left with us afterwards, that her lovers were her clients, and that's why she would keep a separate office. And we would find.
I went to a Craigslist.
Oh my God.
Listing the other day. This was free in a whole box of VHS tapes and CDs and stuff.
Wow.
But got this while I was putting up clips where you mentioned this guy's name. So like the synchronicities are off the chart.
Wow. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, it was just, I went at the guy is giving all this stuff away. I didn't even know that tape was in the box. But
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. The funny thing is such a great synchronicity is that Becca actually said that after being with Anthony Hopkins, it's like sometimes like they have to boast about things, that she was looking forward to being with top actors as their personal masseuse. So yeah, interesting. This is how Mike Lang called her in too. She was giving up massage therapy, and then she goes, and then in one of the many emails he sends to her on my birthday and preceding or following, It says that Becca he's talking to other elite guys. Becca helps keep me focused, and she gives me a massage twice a week and lives with him. So yeah, she was called in to live with him, and yeah, that was supposed to slap the face of the author. Like I said, ego. If you sleep with the author's wife, then you're slapping the face of the author. It's like Game of Thrones again, where Tyrion Lannister, he's shown Jamie gives him a woman who's in distress, and he thinks he's going to marry her. He marries her, and then he has to watch while she has sex with all these other soldiers. Father makes that happen. So gold coins dripping out of the hands, and that's what they
So
did with
gross.
Becca. Yeah, this movie with Becca. So it's supposed to make me look like a cuckold and idiot, and it's like, but Mike Lang had to get his licks in, if you will, no pun, but yeah, I guess pun intended because I don't care about it, and revealed all of Disney by doing it. His ego was so massive, like they said in that article when he exited 2012 article, he had to sleep with the author's wife. And then I have the Disney person on tape saying, yeah, he did it because of ego. So he made the pathway right back to the cabal. That's why he's supposed to disappear right now, because they wouldn't be able to shut him up. And they had Harvey Weinstein, the guy who took over at Miramax when he exited during this time to Film Tracks, when we're coming forward to serve him, Warner Brothers. It was Harvey Weinstein that took his place. So he was Harvey Weinstein's boss. Anyway,
Wait, who was Harvey Weinstein's boss?
Mike
Mike
Lang.
Lang?
Mike Lang. Mike Lang. Harvey Weinstein took
Okay.
over Miramax.
Wow, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's why when I was testifying in Canada about Mike Lang and what happened with the wife, that's why they unleashed Harvey Weinstein to the public right at that point. And they never said Mike Lang as his boss. They just said his boss. They never would use Mike Lang's name because they're covering that up. And so what you had was Harvey Weinstein supposed to take pressure off Mike Lang by coming on the scene and taking the fall, which just tells you that Mike Lang was involved in the same things Harvey Weinstein was. So Harvey Weinstein is taking the bullets, so whatever was revealed to Mike Lang won't surface. The public's supposed to go, nothing else to see here. So what they're telling you is Mike Lang was involved in the same stuff Harvey Weinstein was, while Harvey Weinstein was involved with it. See?
I
That's
don't
why.
like how I was tricked into glorifying very gory works like Tarantino
Mm-hmm.
and all pushed through Miramax. Um, I guess you could say I took the bait along with a lot of other people. But
Well, you were. I understand. I understand why. I mean, how it can happen. I was supposed to do with Scorsese, Swayze. What is his name? Scorsese.
Scorsese,
Yeah, I was supposed
yeah,
to. I was supposed to be contracted with him to write a film with one of the main CIA plants. This guy named Len. He does John Lennon impersonations with a lady named Sue Clark, who was a handler of mine. He actually became a power of attorney with me, and works for the CIA, and introduced me to all these CIA guys like Philip Arnold, who trains CIA interrogators. So that guy was offered by Scorsese, whatever, to write a script. Now I was supposed to write with this boyfriend of Sue Clark, and but I wouldn't get credit for the work, but I'd be writing under that director for him. So yeah, the games they play. But you just made me realize why they want to make me look like gory and monstrous and, you know, not a good guy. That's been on go all along. Narcissist, egomaniac, schizophrenic, bipolar 1 and 2. Everything on the sun's been thrown at me. How can you be a combination of all those things and even be able to talk online? Somebody like that would be flipping out during interviews and making death threats and swinging guns around. But of course, that's one of the things they say. They say, I swing a gun around. And then the argument's supposed to be, do you carry a gun? No. Do you own a gun? What are you guys talking about? Am I swinging a gun around threatening to shoot people? If I was such as they said, I'd be doing it during interviews.
that'd
Like,
be kind of fun.
yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah. Like, what?
I'll get out the Enfield from Civil War.
There you
And
go. I love it. You have one of those?
yeah,
I love that.
yeah, it's yeah, I do actually do that on the side. So,
That is really, really cool.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we're not the people doing that, and like on camera firing off our
Yeah,
firearms and being
right.
like,
Well, if you were all those things, you wouldn't be able to control yourself,
no,
right?
and
Mumbling.
they
That's why they
put a
say
target on your back too.
that's why they're coming up with that whole. You're right. Coming up with the whole thing about Tom Althouse mumbles. He does blather. He's what was the word they used? Gibberish. They're saying that because that's actually what Trudeau's man said. We had the
And if
two,
all else fails, they'll call you evil.
and that's what Sophia Stewart said. Sophia Stewart said I was just a footnote, and Wachowski's in TMZ, which the same attorney from Warner Brothers was attorney for TMZ, using it to spread rumors, said that you're no nothing hack. Then Sophia's changed it from I'm just a footnote to I am the evil one. So now I'm the evil one, according to Sophia Stewart. And I guess the more she doesn't get her way, I don't know what the next step up from that would be, according to
Yeah,
their
yeah. What
thing.
is it with? It's like people call you evil if they don't get their way.
Yeah, that's it. Look at my sister.
I didn't get to claim ownership of the Matrix.
That's right. Look at my sister. Like all my life, my sister, biggest fan. She said, "I'm there for you. I know the truth. You wrote The Matrix." And then to switch to, "I am waving a gun around. I'm going to shoot people. I'm evil. I'm anything for Fitzpatrick. Anything for the lifelong FBI operative who's a congressman. Anything for him." And brags about all the rewards she gets, the trip she's going to take, and everything while she stars my dad to death. So it's like you've got, you see how people change, and they think they can buy off anybody and change anyone. Pat Robertson, the evangelical guy, not evangelical, whatever he is,
Yeah,
claims that he
I
gives
looked into a lot with him.
great
With the,
rewards and honors. He gives great rewards and honors, he says, whoever does his bidding. So there it is. But yeah, but this is great, Stephen. This is great. We covered a lot of good ground. A lot of good ground.
yeah, how you feeling? You're
I feel determined. I mean, I'm tired, but determined, and I'm going to keep talking, even if my voice gives out. I'll sign if I have to. We're going to get the story out, the evidence out. We'll show people what it is, and persistence. They even say in the films that if you have the stronger will and you're persistent and you never give up, you will win. The truth will come forward,
yeah.
regardless of a bought legal system.
And even
That
if this is the first time people tuning in to watch us and to listen to you speak about your story, um, I mean that's still something. Like
yeah,
you said, like we've done all of these interviews, but if this is the first one people watch, then so be it. And you
yeah,
can
well
they
said.
can go back and dig into what else they'd like to find out because it's being all laid out here, and I think this is a good refresher for this interview for today.
I think it's great what you're doing. It's amazing. And it's like they flip out, even though shadow ban things and make it look like there's, reviews, they flip out all the time over every one of these. And if I mention a certain person like Keanu Reeves, they'll run a PR article for him next.
I'll
Uh,
say this much: we did 22, yeah, 22 shorts as of
wow.
today,
Wow.
and it's all from the first interview, and this is the seventh interview we're doing now.
Wow.
So, out of all of that, the shorts have had more views than all of the past interviews combined.
Wow. You are getting by their system.
Yeah.
Well done. Well
So
done.
the first interview has like 2,100 views. The seventh short clip has 1,300 views.
Wow.
So, so I mean, it's getting out there,
You're getting by
but it's
them.
all different too.
Yep.
Here's the top ones. I'll just read them off in random order because that's the way it's coming up. 7, 15, 6, 9, 8, 16, 2, 5, 21. So that's from most views to least views. And that's from 1330 to 144.
Wow.
Which some of
Wow.
our interviews, they only have a few hundred views. And now
Yeah.
these 1 minute clips are just blowing out the interview videos in terms of views, but uh, more eyes are seeing the same content in a shorter form.
Right. Well, here I want to hold something up and just say this then as a little thing for you because I think it's important. I'm going to do something they're very afraid of, something they're very afraid of because I got the pristine copy now from an insider of the Copyright Office. Actually worked in my favor. Angela Hightower came through.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Came through
man.
when they were saying they wouldn't give it to me. The 1998 version, they wouldn't give it to me. Right? They wouldn't give it to me, and she cut through and made sure it happened. I paid for it and said not going to give it to you. She made it happen. Look at that, pristine.
Well, and
And
say who's the name of the person that made it happen?
Angela Hightower, she's on here, signed and everything. Angela Hightower. What a great
Oh,
name.
March 20th. Oh, that is
Isn't that awesome?
fantastic.
She made sure it happened within like weeks, of like 2 weeks, when they stonewalled me forever and even said, we're not going to give it to you. We're not going to give it to you. They didn't want us to have the proof. And it goes back to what Rankin was saying. So I'm saying,
Wow.
holding this up right here, which is what they didn't want us to see, the blue pill is the good pill. The red pill is the bad pill, based on the blood of the children. The FBI is now saying that you're not allowed to say red pilled anymore. That's something that was just made known to us. So they're freaking out, and they're so dumb. It's not an intelligence agency. It's so stupid because what they're saying is exactly what I'm saying. The blue pill's good. The red pill's bad. They're way behind the times on their destructive measures. So yeah. So now the public will find that out, and how it is a good pill. Isn't that something? We have it now. She came through.
Yeah, yeah, because I know you're the one that you've been using. It's, I mean, you go through it all the time. You have it all
Here,
tabbed
I'll
up.
hold it
So
up. Look at the difference.
yeah, yeah, that's the one I recognize.
That may not literally hold up in court.
No, that's
cool.
great. You got the fresh, clean copy. That's fantastic.
And I don't open the pages, but you can see it's not 8 pages of scribbled notes, as Rankin would say. So
That's
yeah.
great. So with that seal, that's from the Copyright Office itself, right? That's like their
Yeah. Now
thing.
their tactic now is to say it's a forgery. They're trying to say it's a forgery. Really? Seriously? Really? Seriously? How would you even make
Doesn't I mean, it looks like
that? Yeah.
all the checks that they try to do to keep it authentic.
Yep. I don't think so, guys.
Oh, I really like how that ribbon seals the top part up.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, actually haven't seen that like that before.
Yeah.
You can
Isn't
tell
that
I haven't copyrighted anything.
So we now know proof too that they have infiltrated the Copyright Office. And when Rankin was bragging that we found only 8 pages of scribbled notes after he destroyed our poor man's patent, ripped it open, took everything out. Now we can see that the Copyright Office is in the pocket. Why would they allow your title, The Immortals, to be copyrighted by Dean Laurentiis, the very man who winded on the Wachowskis, promising them all the fame and fortune, women, and everything, starlets? Why would they allow him to copyright the Immortals title with all these subtitles without a body of work? And put his films on it and then switch it over to the biggest investment firms in Hollywood? You've got a bought Copyright Office. And thanks to Angela Hightower, she went through and around and made sure we got this document. Now they're flipping out. And then the Sophia Stewart with Kate Chilton letter. Sophia Stewart was not supposed to post the Kate Chilton letter, but she had an ego. Company's called All Eyes on Me, director, writer, producer, All Eyes on Me, Sophia Stewart. And she has to post it to say, Matrix 4 came out, right? So it proves egg on the face that she's not the person that owns this franchise. So she has to post that letter, which is the assassination letter. It's the letter that shows she was being given payoff money, not for her work, but to throw the actual author's work by the very person in Warner Brothers, the exec that was handling the author, to destroy his claims. That's something. For the very period 2009 to 2014. Yeah, they're turning on each other. Their ego. See, that's in the end of it, Stephen. In the end, they can't stand the idea of the group getting away with things if they're left out of it. It's always what's in it for me. What's in it for me is their mentality. And so if anybody in the group that doesn't rise with the rest of the group, they're going to pull that net down. They're going to pull the rest down. Like you said, they'll grab those ankles like Keanu Reeves might too, because it is about massive egos. So
yeah, the public will be the judge, jury, and executioner with that,
right.
with how they're remembered in time.
Right. You're right. And the final word, I want to say something for you too, from my end, and ask any question, is we're forming a library of the evidence for the entire world. We're going to form a worldwide library where anybody can access all the evidence organized, and you can see all of this. And that's freaking the other side out. It's like the library at Oslo. So we're going to go ahead and inform that. We're working on it now, where it'll be protected and available to every person on the planet. You can see the evidence and watch what happens then. Now, they didn't count on that when they owned the courts. Now, the judges will look for, appear to be who they are. The players will be revealed for what they did, and the game will be over.
And this, I mean, we're working with what we have here, but I mean, I'm collecting, like, I have my own little mini library with everything that's gone on for
I love it.
our
I love it.
interviews and stuff. So
Thank you.
that's why, like, I'm asking for specific, like, can you refresh me on this and this and this, and
Right.
do you have pictures of this? And then I'm prepping that. I'm actually putting that into the clips. So then when you're talking about or referring to things, I bring it up to show on the clip, just to keep that 1 minute interesting for anybody who's scrolling through all this stuff. We're getting people that normally wouldn't even sit down and watch a full 2 hour interview with us, let alone four.
Right.
But
Right. Well, you just raised something really important, I think. Otika Ball. Otika Ball.
yes.
Bernard. Otika Ball, the niece of Senator David Boren, former Senator David Boren. What you have there is the woman that saved my life at the time, in 93, and made it possible for me to pitch the work to Bonaventura, was with me, took Bonaventura's call on the directions on where to submit everything. Otika Ball. And what do the Wachowskis do? Now we discovered it. We never knew it before. In that first graphic in the Matrix, which I sent you, high school, Thunder West High. My name, Thomas A. Dad's name, John A. Birthday, as it was in records at the time, July 22nd, corrected in 2003 to July 2nd, 1959, on the clock exactly, 59. Then you have something we missed. My fiance at the time, Otika Ball, now Otika Bernard, her birthday as Neo's birthday, March 11th. They stuck the very woman who saved my life, who enabled me to write the piece, and was there at the pitch session with Bonaventura. They stuck her birthday as Neo's birthday, March 11th. And that's why I sent you also the lookup thing where you can check people's online stuff, birthdays, addresses. Check out Otika Bernard. So, Senator David Boren's niece, who was bought off by Disney, turned on me viciously in the end for rewards and wanted to be famous. Her birthday is used to mock me after she did. They're putting my fiance's birthday as Neo's, my high school, my birthday, my dad's name, my marital status at the time, Capital City, which is where Neo's, the original Neo in my work is from, Washington, D.C. Nice little flip there. All there. And then in Man in the High Castle, they also put my two dead sons' birthdays in the clips, like the things I sent you. December 7th, you'll see that, Kirk's birthday, who was murdered. October 14th, Sean's birthday, who was murdered. My mom's birthday, who they tried to murder when they murdered my dad. Otika's birthday, my fiance at the time, March 11th. And my birthday, July 2nd. All those birthdays tied to 4 characters in Man in the High Castle on rap sheets, as they were in the rap sheets on Neo, also including 9/11 and Operation Northwoods.
And it's in a season finale too, or I think it's a series finale, right?
Yeah.
Either
So
way, it's like it's that capstone episode where they've planned to lead up to that all year, all season, however long. So it's
exactly.
the most thought out besides the pilot.
Oh, yeah, and that's not all. The name of my mom's character, and it's just amazing how far they go to try to be clever. Wannabe. I don't know how you actually pronounce it. I sent it to you like a wannabe. That's the name of the director of the detective story in Animatrix. Wannabe. So they call the character's name Wannabe, who represents my mom with her mom's birthday. And that's not all. The character that plays my mom in Man in the High Castle with her birthday is born in Okinawa. So the birthday, May 23rd, my mom was born on the morning of May 22nd, I think it is. So May 23rd is what her birthday would have been if she was born in Okinawa. They even got that right, that far. The tape of evidence burning, when they got Otika to turn on me, destroyed me. That's when they gave the work to the Wachowskis at that date. She turns on me in 1996, 95, 96. That's when I lose her. It destroys me, breaks me. And so what they do is they show the Smith tape that could incriminate his family being burned. I sent a graphic of that from Men in the High Castle. Matika's, my former fiance's birthday that destroyed me, broke my heart, is the date on the tape.
Wow.
Being burned.
Yeah, so that's I mean it's all publicly out there for people to look up
They might
everything
as
that
well, yeah.
that
They
you
might
just
as
said.
well, they might as well take the script, the film, and just write Tom Althouse, Tom Althouse, Tom Althouse, Tom Althouse, Tom Park Althouse, all over it. But then they did, didn't they? In Animatrix, they put Tom Park Althouse across the screen backwards. They actually did. That's
No,
how silly these guys are, how ruthless these guys are. And I would never have known if the insider from Warner Brothers had not called from the story department and told me. And he's still waiting for us to succeed. He said then he would reveal himself. When we succeeded, he was giving us the tools to do that while they were supplying Rankin, Sophia Stewart, Honeypot wife, Becca,
and
and
do you
all
think that that guy's
still
good on
alive.
his word? Like
If we
gonna
succeed, he'll
support
surface. It's part of the inside's mantra, basically.
it's kind of like if they see that you're gonna be successful, then
They hitch
they'll
on
get
the
behind
wagon.
you.
Yeah, they'll
But
say,
if
"I was there. I helped make it happen.
yeah,
What's in
okay.
it for me? Where's my reward?"
Yeah,
Basically,
and I know a few of those people.
how the
People
industry's.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we'll see him again. We will, hat in hand.
Excellent. Well, man, it's been great having you on again, Tom. Um, we will be actively in contact via email, and yeah, we're gonna keep putting these shorts out because they're getting
Oh
around.
God,
People
that
are
is so
seeing.
awesome.
Somebody was really there were some of the comments that came in. They were just like, "Wow!" All capital letters with exclamation points.
Very cool.
So we
Thank you.
are we're helping people find out the truth of what's been going on, and there's new people finding out every day. Which,
Yes.
as cliche as it may sound, it's the truth because I am getting new viewers, new subscribers, and I've gotten a lot more views the past few days than I have all year. So
Good
that's
for
also
you.
saying
Good for
something.
you. Well, thank you to you especially, and to the team, and to people that are getting it, because we're doing this. Why are we doing this? Our motives are different than the cabal. Our
Yeah.
motives are, yes, I'm going to save my last son's life. That's a goal. Yes, but it includes all the children. It really does. We are that way. We're going to save many, many people by doing this all together. And that's what drives us. We're not about ego.
Yeah,
We're about
we're
getting the job
part
done.
of a bigger plan, and I mean, not speaking generalities, but what we're doing here is important. If we don't do it, it will hurt a lot of people. So
A
if we
lot.
do it, we will help a lot of people.
Exactly.
As simply what as I can say.
There is a big axe hatchet in the air, and it's going to fall. And the cabal has put it there and rigged it with all the players from Justice Department, the FBI, CIA, movie moguls, religious right. They've all put it there together and toasted to it, and the power they think they have because they can is the reason. And what we're doing is dismantling that apparatus. And like the end of the Matrix, we're putting the sun back in the sky, if you will. We're giving the children of the future a real world that has justice, fairness, and some great stories that won't be altered and bastardized. So I hope I didn't gibberish there,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
we need
So,
new fresh ideas. They've been gone since I guess they stole your stuff. I
yeah,
mean, simply put, the past 30 years of movies, I mean
the best
it's
offers writers can,
embarrassing, shortly put. For
the
the
best
film industry, it's bad.
the best offer a writer can have that's worth his salt is be a script doctor. See, where you're ripping off other people's work. How many have said no? It would be a sad sight to see how many stood in the auditorium when that question was asked. Very sad. And a lot of us would be having trouble getting up from the brutality and the cruelty that we experienced, including
And I'll leave my audience here with a question for themselves to ask, especially if they're filmmakers, is how far are you willing to go to bend for others that don't care about you in the industry? Personally, I wouldn't bend at all at this point. In terms of what I'm saying is like with your scripts, with your work, people are coming in and saying, like the people that are saying, "Oh, we'll help you make it," but we want you to change this scene. We want you to have this character say this or wear this, and it goes against everything in your story and your plot. But they want you to do that in order for you to have it made. I hope you're whoever is put in that situation, you're able to make the right choice and to stick with your own work and don't let other people change your ideas. I guess is what I'm
exactly.
telling my audience.
Very good. I have a resolve because I keep an image in mind. I encourage others to hold images. Like what you said, I have the image of a Iraqi man holding his dead daughter, and that reminds me always to do the job right, not to sell out for the fathers out there everywhere and mothers. You know, would you want to see children die because you took an offer? Anybody to it, just it shouldn't even be a factor. It shouldn't even compute. It should be that, nothing could make us lose our humanity in that aspect. My sister did, and I watched her change into something totally different that I don't know if it ever be around. So even her voice, I can't be around it when I see the boasting all the time.
No, I understand it must be toxic just in general to
Even
hear her voice, to think
her
about her,
voice.
just
Yeah,
with the actions that have taken place and the choices she's made to go against you. So,
exactly. And then even have the audacity to claim that she has nothing against Aiden. You're trying to destroy Aiden's life by destroying everything for his future. So that's how they play. They try to isolate, alienate, and then take you down, and then brag about all the trips they're going to have and all the rewards they're going to have. So I hope
Aiden's doing well now though.
Aiden is a 4.0 student, and
Oh,
this goes
that's
back
fantastic.
to, she claims bad father, 4.0 student, amazing family, is dating an amazing girl, also high honor society, both of them. They have their rules they follow. PALS organization scored the last soccer goal of the season, and
Nice.
practices the piano every day, has a Bible by his bed. He's like the model kid, a leader of his own generation. He has a study group of scholar athletes that they'll always work on the stuff together at night, always on time with assignments. And he's the one that told me, Dad, keep going. If anything even happens to me, you keep going, you finish the work. For the kids, for others, you finish it. I mean, he's 16, he's thriving. He has no mom in his life. He knows that his mom has a criminal record, had been in jail, is a prostitute, bought by Disney, said he should die, shouldn't have been born. He doesn't even get a Christmas card. But the thing is that I'm his mom and dad. And he's also pushing me to be better, be the best I can be. He wants me to show even more courage, to be stronger, to get the job done. Don't you stop. The thing my dad said when he was dying in his bed, being starved to death. Finish the job, Tom. Finish the job. While my sister appears, get him off the phone. Get him off the phone. He got it in. He said, finish the job. You're a straight shooter. I'm proud of you out of all the kids. You're the one. Finish the job. And that's why I said I'm going to make sculptures. I sculpt. I'm going to make a bust sculpture that I want to put in the new company, the new studios, once this is all done, of people who inspired me. And you certainly are right on that list. Because
Well, thank you, Tom.
what you're doing with the shorts and everything, you're getting around their system. And I look
Yeah,
at it as, I don't look at it as ego. I look at it as people might be helped. It's like kids might be saved.
yeah.
That's why I
Well,
wrote the work in
that's
the
what I'm
first
thinking
place.
is that a lot of these views are coming from kids
I think
for the
so too.
shorts.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because why was this written? They hate when I hold it up, so I'm holding it up. Why was it written?
That looks so beautiful being all
Isn't it? Yeah.
fresh.
To change even the music, to change our world, to make it better for the next generation. And now they're doing everything from this film. And they're trying to quote use up the rest of the story, but they think that that's going to keep us from making it. People want to know the answers. They want to know what it was originally intended to be. Where the Wachowskis just lifted everything out. It's like ripping a Christmas present apart. Let's offer the public the Christmas present the way it was before the Wachowskis clawed it to pieces. And it'll make sense. It'll run smooth. Bells and whistles will chime, and it'll have its message to give for a better world.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and further down the line, like much later, after the Immortals is made, there will be a whole generation um of people that would know the Immortals first before the Matrix.
All said that the blue pill was good.
Hmm. And
They were.
I mean, at least that's what I'm looking forward to long term. Is
Sure.
like everything is debunked with Warner Brothers and Wachowskis and everything, and it's common knowledge that these people deceived the world,
Right.
and as well as everything else in Hollywood. I'd love for all of that to be exposed,
Same here.
and then righted as much wrong as was done by them, like as much as possible. Try to bring balance back to it, and no, I think we're helping move that along here.
You're doing that. You are, along with the documentary team. You are definitely doing it. And the idea that comes to me too is when I wrote it, I didn't expect it to take off in my lifetime. I expected to whisper through art for future generations. So in the real reality of it, I haven't really lost anything in the end, except my son's lives are huge, but I'm doing it in their honor. They took everything they could from me, and they're holding it over as a threat that, Aiden would be next if I keep talking. But Aiden himself said, "You keep talking, Dad. You keep talking." He wants a world the way it could be through what his dad was seeing rather than a world that he's in, if it comes to that.
Yeah,
So he wants a better world. And if we're both part of it, we'll have done it right, and we can hold our heads up, and we can see others that are alive, like what you're doing, that they're there because of what we all did collectively. It wasn't ego based. Ego would have been we did things individually for ourselves, but the way we're doing it is collectively for all to benefit from. So bless you. Thanks for what you're doing.
thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll end it here for tonight. And any of the alphabet companies that tuned in, I hope you enjoyed
Pay
our
attention.
lesson for today.
Yeah. Pay attention.
And
Let's
no
use their own
audio
words. Use their own
glitches.
words, Stephen. Use their own words. There's always time to come home.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah,
There's always time to come back home to the Lord. There we go.
there you go. And that's what's wild is the whole thing was written for his glory. That and the Wachowskis kept the exact scenes, the same ending. We just saw in the article again, kept the same ending. So the same ending, everyone can see that it's a Christ ending. They see that. Even have Neo with the gold cross in his chest with the arms out.
Yeah.
They kept the same ending.
Even though Wachowski saw that it was a Christ ending. So yeah.
Same ending. But thank you, Steven. I didn't mean to interrupt your thing. You just hit me.
Oh
So
no, not at all. I mean, it's it is what it is.
it's like we're
We're all here
discovering.
for a short time, but we're all gonna be reunited on the other side. And honestly, that's the real world, right? Is what's after this
It
world.
is. And I want to give one more thank you too. It is. I want to thank God, Lord Christ. I want to thank him that my time's almost up for holding this cup. It was referred to as a cup I had to drink and it wouldn't be taken from me until the work's done. I'm so glad I can give this cup back. Because unlike what Sophia Stewart says, no, I'm not the evil one. I'm not trying to be Jesus or anything like that. I'm just trying to finish my work for a better world and then be part of that world as a father and
Mhm.
son. So I don't know. It's like Gladiator was charged with restoring Rome to Rome. Was it the glory of Rome back to Rome as it was supposed to be? Same thing. I'd like to have this country restored and then retire from holding this cup. And yeah, yeah. But thank you. So that's my big thank you to you and to God. Thanks, Steve.
I appreciate it. I think everybody else appreciates it as well. So yeah. Until the next one, Tom. I'll keep in touch, and I mean we'll exchange emails
Mhm.
back and forth as per usual, but probably a little more than usual since I'm getting all this stuff collected. But
Excellent. And I really appreciate you giving the questions that your audience says that I can supply the evidence back to you. I like that. So you
yeah,
have things you can look through. Wait till you see them.
yeah. This is the next best thing besides doing an actual live broadcast. But there's certain reasons why we don't do that. We don't want any feed to get compromised, and then we lose a whole
Right.
bunch of video and stuff.
Right.
So
Right. 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 No, I appreciate what you're doing, taking extra work like that. So this is
uh,
great. I'm excited. I'm excited because like that whole short idea is genius. Absolute genius.
it is, yeah. So it's a good. I'm going to keep rolling them out too. So it's not stopping. It's going to keep going.
I think it's
So
affecting their mentality, the other side's mentality. Those responsible are going like, how are we supposed to stop all these shorts? You can produce them faster than we can shut them down.
it's a new tool.
You got them.
It's
You
a new
got them.
tool. And it's experimental with the algorithms. So
I love it.
we're breaking through
Yeah,
it.
practically Henry Forded them. You got this send out the shorts and just get them out and send them out and hit the poignant points and beautiful. Attention spans addressed. And the other side not able to take it all.
Yeah.
I love it, Stephen. You're greatest. Thank you.
So you have a good weekend, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. And to my audience, thanks again for tuning in. Tom is always a great guest to have on, and until next time, you take care, and we'll speak again soon.
Soon. Take care.